Welcome everyone to the official launch of Open Your Hearts and Wallets for Blood Cancers, a 24-hour fundraiser. I am Tim Sohn, candidate for Man and Woman of the Year, a philanthropic competition. Try saying that 3 times in a row, by the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. This event, which starts right now and runs until 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, March 9th, that's right, tomorrow, is part of the Man and Woman of the Year program, which is a 10-week campaign. If you would like to, sorry about that. If you would like to donate, you can do so by going to this link right down here. It's also in the comments. You could go to donations.perspectivesoncancer.com, or you can make a check out to LLS and mail it to my address, which is literally in the woods in the middle of freaking nowhere. So, you just don't come visit me. But, I mean, I'm pretty friendly and stuff, but yeah. Anyway, over these 24 hours, there will be live stream shows going on with cancer survivors and supporters sharing their stories, musicians and entertainers performing, and more. You can go to that same link in order to find out where to go over these 24 hours. There are 14 live streamers that are giving of their time, their hearts, their talents. And I'm just so grateful for everyone that is volunteering their time throughout this event. We would love if you let us know where you're tuning in from around the world. There are already people blowing up the comments, and we see you. We will shout you out throughout the event, and just know that we do appreciate you being here from literally all over the world, for sure. Before we get started, I want to thank a few people. I want to shout out my family, Joy, Megan, and Caitlin, who put up with my live streaming shenanigans all the time. I want to thank Dorothy Odell, and I'll be bringing many of these people on the screen in a few minutes, who suggested doing this 24-hour live stream fundraiser. I said, let's do a virtual event. She said, let's do a 24-hour virtual event. I said, sure, bring on the challenge. So here we are today. I want to shout out my incredible team, my live streaming team. Like I said, 14 live streamers from Alaska to Canada. Dorothy, I remembered you. You're in Canada. And Carl Sullivan in the United Kingdom, and people literally all over the United States. Just thank you all so much. Daniel Hall, who created this amazing intro video. Shout out to him. Also, Daniel Hall is using his analytics software called Peekaboo to track the analytics of every single live stream over these 24 hours. So shout out to Daniel Hall and Peekaboo Analytics for doing that. Also, I would love to know, put in the comments if there's somebody on your heart tonight. If there's somebody that maybe somebody has passed of cancer recently, or maybe there's a survivor that's on your heart. I'll take a minute and just put their name in the comments, and let's just think of them for a moment. Okay. So I'm going to go to the comments quickly. Thank you all who are tuning in tonight. Steve Sullivan, who is one of the people who inspired me to share my story, is here tonight. Steve says, go team LLS, and he is going to be in conversation with Carol Ulker from midnight to 2 o'clock in the morning as part of this event. So go Steve Sullivan for staying up at that hour. So thank you so much for being here. DJ says, yay. She is part of the team, she's done all the amazing graphics for the event, as well as Carol Ulker. So shout out to both of them. Christine says donations.perspectivesoncancer.com. Yes, donations.perspectivesoncancer.com. Go there in order to donate, as well as there's the complete schedule for the 24 hours. Bill Tomoff is here. Thank you so much for being here, Bill. I just had a conversation with his wife recently. Their son has had leukemia and other forms of cancer. Shout out to them for sure. Carl Sullivan is here. Carl is part of the amazing live streaming team. Thank you so much for being here. Christine Smith is here. Thank you so much for being here. Elise is here from South Africa. Appreciate you so much. Stefan Kaplan, part of the team. Thank you so much, Stefan. My brother from another mother. Ingor, part of the live streaming team. Inger. Tuning in from Toronto. Appreciate you so much. Terry is also here from Maryland. Thank you for being here. My mom is here. Pray for Amos Note, recently deceased. Thanks, Mom. Love you, Mom. Stefan, yes, my BFAM. Peter Clark says, hello, Tim Sohn, bravo for this event and using your voice to the force for good. Thank you, Peter Clark, and you do the same. So shout out to you, Peter Clark. Yeah. And yes, just thank you all for being here. You are all amazing. And I just appreciate you all so much for being here. So the Man and Woman of the Year is a 10-week philanthropic competition to support blood cancer research among a group of motivated and dedicated individuals and communities across the United States. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring on someone who's been so helpful to me in getting this campaign going. Her name's Pamela Formica. She's with LLS. And she has been a huge encourager for me as I've tried to do this campaign several times. And this time, hell or high water, here we are. So here is Pamela Formica. Hey, Pam.
Thank you, Tim. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me on tonight.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here.
I'm so excited for the next 24 hours to see what you guys can do together as a community. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks so much. You have been such a support to me. It can at first seem daunting, you know, a 10-week campaign, let alone a 24-hour virtual event. Just tell us a little bit about Man and Woman of the Year and a little bit about LLS.
Sure. So we are the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and our main mission is to find a cure for blood cancers. So it started as leukemia, lymphoma, Hodgkin's, and myeloma, and it has spun into so many different versions of those blood cancers. What I personally love about the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, Tim, is that all of our research is shared research. And so there are currently drugs that our researchers have funded and found that are now being used to treat solid tumor cancers. So in layman's terms, they say that it's easier to study cancer in the blood than in a solid tumor. And so we are making such huge headway through FDA clearances. And we're really hoping that that gateway to these blood cancers and a cure will be that cure for all. We do so much in research. As I mentioned, just last year, 14 drugs cleared FDA. We had a hand in each of them. And so we are a true care, and we're very laser focused on what we do with your funds and your money. And we couldn't do it without all of you being there to support us. I really like that we're about one of the only organizations that still give financial aid and help back to our patients. So that's so important, especially through COVID when people didn't know where tomorrow might take us. We really stepped up and we put an additional COVID financial arm out there. And so I feel like LLS really does, move with the times. Just yesterday, I was telling, in fact, you were on yesterday, Tim, when I told you that because we watch on the news everything that's happening in the Ukraine and how some of these children cannot get to the hospitals anymore to get their treatments. And so many of those doctors and nurses are trying to get to them. And so LLS has committed $500,000 to these nurses and these doctors so that these kids can actually get to their treatments and they can get those, treatments in them so that, when this is all over, they can live healthy and happy lives. And Again, we don't do this alone. We do this because of people like you, Tim, and the entire team. And we're not publicly funded. So our private events, we have our Light the Night Walk in the fall. We just wrapped up our Students of the Year campaign where high school kids are out there raising money. And now you are part of Man and Woman of the Year, which is a 10-week fundraising campaign where we're going to work with all of your networks, and let's see how big we can go. If you'll indulge me, you asked a couple minutes ago who was on your heart. And I have to tell each and every one of you that I appreciate what you do so much from the bottom of my heart. I lost my son to leukemia, and this is what brought me here to LLS. I love what they do, and I just respect each and every one of you so much. So thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Pam, and sending you lots of love and prayers. And yeah, for sure. And all of you out there, all of you that have been affected, so many people have been affected by cancer in some way, that I have found out through the show, Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer, that I host every week, and just through LLS and connecting with other cancer survivors and supporters. And just thank you so much for sharing. And also just thank you for LLS has been such an important resource for me and my family, in terms of early on, in terms of providing financial resources, especially in terms of funding for oral chemo medication is so expensive if you don't have, good insurance. And also, I know my mom still goes to family support groups that LLS has, and they have such great education resources and do such important research as well, and clinical trials. The event's only 14 minutes in, and I'm saying triers instead of trials.
No, but all of those things, Tim, as people think about nonprofits, sometimes they only think about the dollars that we're raising. But truly, to have that advocacy arm, currently we are trying to have the 4th tier of all pharmaceuticals removed, because that's the tier where most of our oral treatments fall onto. And as you mentioned, anyone who has been on a very new drug, even if you have great insurance, you're still paying 20% of the cost. I always try to put that into perspective for people. One of the drugs that we have for CML is actually a drug that out of pocket cost our patients $3,000 a month. I don't know about you, but that certainly is a cost I know that I couldn't incur. And so, to be able to help these patients just not have to make decisions like, do I go to the grocery store? Do I take my medicine? It's just amazing to know that that's the change we're making in people's lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Pam. I really appreciate all your encouragement. I appreciate you being here tonight, cheering me and my team on. And also during these next 10 weeks. And also Valerie, who just joined the team as well. Looking forward to working with her as well.
Absolutely. Let us know what you need. And we can't wait for the next 24 hours. So thank you all for joining in. And thanks for having me.
Thanks, Pam. I really appreciate it. Okay, everybody, let's give lots of love to Pam in the comments. She is such an inspiration. And thank you, Pam, for sharing your connection to cancer. We truly appreciate it. So let's definitely shout out Pam in the comments. So I think what we're going to do next is we're going to bring on someone here that, well, let's just bring her on. Let's just Rachel Druckenmiller.
Hi.
Hi, Rachel Druckenmiller. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so just how inspiring. Like already.
Right?
Just remarkable. Yes.
Just the community here, all the people that come together and support each other. It's just have no words.
People are showing up because they care. And you're somebody who just also really shows up for people. And so I think when people consistently show up for others and then they have a moment where it's like, okay, now I really now I'm really in a spot of wanting to receive that. You just see the outpouring, you know, and it's because Tim, you're somebody who gives so much to so many people. So it's an honor to support you at this.
Well, I really appreciate that. And you inspire me, Rachel Druckenmiller, because you're all about unmuting and about joy and about resilience and about showing up and all those things. And I think you have a few connections to cancer, right? Would you mind sharing those?
Yeah, my grandfather actually had leukemia. My mom's dad and my mother, my brother's mother-in-law. So my brother's mother-in-law, she passed away from brain cancer about 5 years ago. And then a mentor of mine, Dr. Danny Friedland, passed away from brain cancer this past October. So
Wow.
I feel like we all know, you know, everyone knows someone, at least one person, if they haven't been affected personally. So it's just so important to be doing this kind of work, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, for sure. For sure. And I so appreciate you showing up tonight here.
Of course.
For this event.
Yeah. Wouldn't have it any
Rigor
other way.
is here. He says, hey now, it's Tim and Rachel. Yes, there's so many people who are here. Daniel Hall is here. So awesome to see you, Rachel. Yes, and Daniel created the amazing intro video for the launch for this event tonight. So thank you, Daniel.
He's so talented.
I really appreciate that. Yeah.
In so many ways.
Yes. Thank you all who are here. Rachel, did you want to sing anything for us tonight?
Yeah, I was thinking through like what I might want to sing, and then I thought like I just think about the weight that it can be, right? To carry just like the weight of like illness and the weight of pain and just like of the world. There's like a heaviness in the world right now. And so I'm going to sing a song, and just for you, I queued it up where there's a track of music that runs behind me, which, you know, I usually sing a cappella, but I'm like, if I'm going to do this for Tim, I'm going to try to like really do it.
Wow. All out, Rachel. I love it.
This is the extent of my technical skills when it comes to this. Hopefully it sounds okay through the stream. I sort of did a little demo.
I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah, so I just would invite people to even like maybe like put a hand on your heart and just think of what it is that, you know, again, so many of us can carry so much. And what is it that you can choose to just like, you know, let be? What can you choose to just like let be and accept and give yourself some grace and compassion? So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get this started. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. When the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
Oh my goodness, Rachel Druckenmiller. I am lifting a gazillion hearts your way. Oh my gosh. That was just the perfect song. Just the perfect, and the perfect person with the perfect song. Oh my gosh. Just thank you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. It's like I thought of as I was doing like you know, running through the lyrics of this is like there will be an answer. I think so often when we're, you know, trying to beat cancer, I think we're looking for like what, not to put a rhyme, like what's the answer? You know, we're looking for an answer. Like what is, how can we fight this thing? How can we find a cure? You know, I think, and so when that, it's like we're hoping for an answer, you know, so that just sort of
for sure
spoke to me when I thought about the lyric of the song. I was like, I think this will be a good fit. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Rachel. Oh my gosh. And Rachel's going to be back tomorrow night. So can't wait for that. Thank you, Rachel. You're the best.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh, guys. Do you guys have your puffs? And let us know, are you team puffs or team Kleenex? Or a team, does ShopRite have a brand? Or let us know what kind of Kleenex or whatever tissues you use, because I'm definitely going to need them for sure. Isn't Rachel incredible? And Rachel also has a show called Unmute Yourself every other Monday at noon. So make sure to check that out. So guys, I decided to become a candidate for Man and Woman of the Year because I was diagnosed with chronic leukemia 15 years ago, started sharing my cancer journey in June on Jenny Gold's show. Shout out to Jenny Gold. And guys, share Jenny Gold. Share your love with Jenny Gold in the comments. Her mom recently passed of cancer. So put some love in the comments for Jenny Gold. And many places since then. Found out in December I'm cancer-free. Woohoo. Launched Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer with Kara Ulker. Shout out to Kara. Just a few months ago. And where we invite cancer survivors and supporters to share their stories, connect, and support each other. I have a fire in me now more than ever to help other cancer survivors and supporters. So that's why we are all here today, to show up, to change lives. I'm now cancer-free, but that could change in a heartbeat. And many are not cancer-free and are struggling right now as we speak. Each person's story is different. Each person is impacted in different ways, as we have discovered on Showing Up. Speaking of stories, right now we're going to hear the story of Brooklyn, who had cancer, was cancer-free, and then relapsed. So we're going to watch that story right now.
Maybe, okay, so you're recording?
Yes.
Okay, maybe say, hi, my name is Brooklyn.
My name is Brooklyn. This is my identical twin sister, Alyssa. And this is my pet bearded dragon, Smaug. I love my dragon a whole lot. I would describe myself as very passionate. I love to write. I like to play the violin. I remember getting the biopsy results in my sister's bedroom. Diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. I had just turned 21. I was terrified on my first day of treatment, and before I knew it, I was getting continuous chemo for 96 hours straight, but none of it was working. At that point, we realized that we couldn't pass up any opportunities, and we had to take every moment that we could. So one of the things we did was take time for me and my sister to go find me a wedding dress. Not because I was getting married, but just to have the experience and to be able to find that perfect dress with my sister and share that moment together, since we knew that we couldn't guarantee it anymore. We were trying to learn everything we could about my diagnosis. That's why we went to LLS's blood cancer conference. And from that day on, LLS just became a big part of our lives. They helped me find meaning through volunteering and sharing my story. And they just gave me a blood cancer family. I thank LLS the most for funding my clinical trial. Getting the compassionate acceptance was really exciting, but my goodness, it was rough. And I finally got a remission. I relapsed less than 3 months later. We were sitting on a concrete bench outside the hospital thinking, why did we ever do this? A lot of feelings of defeat. I just kept asking how. How could we have done all of this? None of it mattered then. I still had cancer. So here we are. I've received all the standard treatments and even the newest blood cancer advances. And the only option now is treatment that just might slow down the cancer and buy a little bit of time. It's really hard to watch yourself get sicker. If you're not in the hospital for chemo, you're there because you have fluid in your chest or have another infection or need another blood transfusion. I'm exhausted and my family is exhausted, but I love my family and I love living life with them. We're relying on something better, more research. You give us the hope that we're hanging on to for my life. LLS calls me an honor hero, but really, you're my heroes.
Wasn't that a touching story of Brooklyn? Let's send Brooklyn lots of love in the comments for sure. LLS is always so hard at work with its many programs, including research and trials. So I'm excited to share this video with you about LLS PEDAL, the first global precision medicine clinical trial in pediatric acute leukemia with you guys. And then after that, I'm really excited to bring my team on the screen. My team has been so hard at work with me on putting this whole program with you for over the next 24 hours, along with all of the live streamers as well. So I'm going to play this for you guys and then bring the team on. And I'm excited to have them share their connections to cancer and have them say a few words as well. And we'll go from there.
What we're trying to do here with LLS Pedal is to do something that's never been done before, and that's to match the child to a trial almost in real time. You can imagine a child coming in with relapsed leukemia and to be able to figure out within 24, 48 hours a new therapy to put that child on and to get that therapy started. That's never been done before.
We've been using the same drugs for the last 40 to 50 years. These drugs have been designed primarily for adult cancers, and we've been using them in kids to improve outcomes. And we've probably gotten as much mileage out of them as we can. For many of these types of leukemias that we're treating, we've pushed the limit of toxicity as far as we can. If we're going to make new progress, we need new therapies.
With this initiative, if we are successful, we can bring in massive number of pediatric leukemia patients to answer questions in a few short years rather than decades. And the fact that we have failed to do that, it really requires for us to change the way we're thinking and change the paradigm.
Pediatric leukemia is actually different from adult leukemia. So the changes that we see in the leukemia cells at the level of the genes are actually quite different from those seen in adult leukemias. So it's really important to actually focus research specifically on childhood leukemias, both acute myeloid leukemia as well as acute lymphoblastic leukemia. I am so excited that the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is going to support a next generation clinical trial very similar to the adult Beat AML trial. This trial is actually going to enable a master trial for children with AML and other high-risk leukemias. So as part of this study, really for the very first time, we're going to be able to sequence the gene changes in the child's leukemia and then match those gene changes to drugs in a series of clinical studies.
Without LLS's backing, we could never even dream of a project like this, because this is a huge initiative that's going to require data from lots of different sources and an enormous infrastructure, the likes of which we've never seen before.
I have never been this optimistic as I stand here today. We can do this.
All right. This is the point when I'm going to bring on my amazing team. So let's give it up for Dorothy Odell, DJ, Mark Lee, Stephen Kaplan, Rob Statham, my wife Joy Sohn, and the one and only Nancy Barrows. Everybody in the comments, give it up for my team. Yay. You guys are all incredible. I could not put together this event without any of you guys. First of all, I want to just say thank you. Just this 24-hour idea, I said, let's do a virtual event. And Dorothy Odell over here said, let's make it 24 hours. Why not just make it 24 hours? So let's just do that. So Dorothy, would you like to say a few words?
Sure, Tim. Well, I always say go big or go home, right? That's yes, just how I envision everything, right? So why start small, especially when you have a goal of trying to raise $64,000, right? So I just really, when Tim says, you know, I really want to do this, who can gather around me to help me? And of course, I could not say no to Tim. Since the pandemic hit, I've been getting to meet a lot of incredible people, and Tim was one of them. Tim also helps me live streamed my dad's memorial service when my dad died of cancer in September. I wasn't going to cry. And so when Tim asked me to be part of something bigger than myself, and especially with cancer, I knew that it was something that I had to do. So, Tim, thanks for taking my crazy, insane idea and making it a reality. And thank you to the rest of the team for being part of something that is really bigger than ourselves, and to helping people like Brooklyn, get what she needs. And to me, that's what it's all about, because watching somebody with cancer sucks. And knowing that this disease could be eradicated, I hope in my lifetime, it would be the reason why I did this. So thanks, Tim, for having me on your team.
Thanks for coming up with the crazy idea, and thanks for, I know this pandemic has had so many horrible effects, but it has brought all of us together. How many of us would have met each other if this pandemic didn't happen, right? All of us here, all of us either met each other through my live streaming courses or Brian Schulman, or those are probably the two main ways, I think, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Megan, you want to come? Megan, come in.
Yay!
Megan, you want to make an appearance? The daughter? Maybe not.
Daughter's being shy.
Maybe not.
Aww.
All right. Well, I have to shout out my wife, Joy. I don't think she wants to say anything because, she doesn't want to say anything.
Yay, Joy!
I have to shout out the wife for putting up with, the amount of effort that goes into organizing a 24-hour event that Dorothy O'Dell recommends is 20 run of shows, a lot of live streamers, a lot of team members, but so much love and so much heart, and just, it's incredible. Incredible. Okay, Stefan Kaplan, you're up next. Would you like to say a few words?
Hey, Tim. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Oh my God. What an absolute honor to be here, to work with my BFAM, as I call it, my brother from another mother. I'll say it time and time again. We've survived through this pandemic together, keeping our spirits alive together. And when I heard he was cancer free, it just made me so happy. But we want to do this event to try to help others become the same way, and provide this support for people, because like Tim and our entire team will talk about, this affects everyone. I've known so many people who have had cancer. I know so many people who are still battling it, who unfortunately some have passed. And it's just so hard on the families, on themselves, on everybody involved, but most importantly on them. And this is just an incredible effort by Tim. It's heroic. 24-hour marathon.
And the rest of all of you.
And everybody.
This truly takes
everybody.
Community, a village.
But we're all here to lend our support, and it just means a lot to be a part of this, because especially now with everything else going on in the world, between Ukraine and everything else, we have to open our hearts, we have to open our wallets, and we have to realize one thing. I've got a roof over my head. I've got food on the table. I've got a bed to go to bed in every night. I've got safety around me and everything else. There are so many people who have nothing right now. Let's do all we can for the next 24 hours to help these individuals and families who have cancer, blood cancers in their lives. And let's also remember everybody else as we go forward after this 24-hour event, and not forget everybody else who needs help. It just takes sharing and caring, and that's all there is to it.
That's so true, Stefan. And you often say, right, even if we don't have money to donate, right, we can, we can share social media posts, we can get information out, we can share positivity and things like that. And you're so wonderful at getting the message out. And you're always sharing such wonderful images that promote positivity.
Well, It's true that about social media. Social media gets a bad rap by so many people, but social media has been phenomenal. I thank God every day that I'm in social media, because I truly feel that I can make a difference, and I try to every single day with everything that I post, everything that I share, everybody that I encourage to do the same with, the students that I teach, you name it. We can all make an impact with social media. It's just how we use it and how we filter it and how we strategize with it. And the positive impact is there. The effort and the passion and the purpose just have to be there too. And that's it.
Exactly. And you are making an impact, Stefan. Every day
we all are. We all are. And again, it's just an honor and a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Stefan. Next, we're going to go over to DJ. But first, I want to remind everyone that we are at Open Your Hearts and Wallets, a 24-hour fundraiser, thanks to the suggestion of Dorothy Odell. And we are all here to support the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. This is the Man and Woman of the Year philanthropic competition. Say that 10 times in a row. Good luck with that. Maybe we should have a competition.
I'll say it once an hour.
Doing that.
Wow.
And we encourage you guys, every dollar counts. If you go to donations.perspectivesoncancer.com, we encourage you to make a donation to Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. It has been so helpful to me and my family through my 15-year journey with leukemia. And Stefan, you have something to say before we go to our next team member here.
Just before I was saying about sharing and caring, folks, the share button is right there on your screen for LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. How easy is it? Even if you can't donate anything right now, hit the share button. Somebody else may be able to at this moment. That's all we're asking. Just share the conversation here. Share the 24-hour live event once, and then any other streams you see over the next 24 hours, and you've done your part.
I love it. I love it. There we go. Thanks, Stefan. All right. Next, we're going to go to DJ. DJ and Kara have done an amazing job with the branding for this event. Thank you, DJ.
Thanks. Thank you,
DJ.
Tim.
Thank you. What is your connection to cancer? And what would you like to say?
Well, you're one of my connections to cancer. So thank you for being such a wonderful friend and mentor this last year. I appreciate you for opening up and sharing your story, and just like how hard it was for you. I've felt and I've heard so many different stories of other individuals in private conversations along the lines of all my work throughout the years with similar stories of people having these, going through these kinds of issues, right? Like dealing with cancer, coming back from cancer, and then trying to get back into the workforce, trying to restart their lives again, and how difficult it was. So that's partly why I'm here, just for all those voices and all those individuals that have impacted and shared their lives with me, their stories or bits and pieces. But also personally, my uncle passed away from leukemia. There were some complications. There were possibly some bad medical advice, some malpractice. I don't know. And unfortunately, that's something that we don't talk about in my family. It's something that really is still just very difficult for my grandma, difficult for my dad. So if this gives me the opportunity to share that story, keep that connection, do my part to honor my uncle and the other stories that are similar that we can kind of all relate to, and other individuals. So I think that's a little bit of my personal story when it comes to how I'm connected to leukemia directly, and just, again, working in the field that I've been able to so wonderfully give to and support all these years of hearing similar stories of in all these other medical conditions. But since we're here to really bring attention to leukemia and lymphoma and blood cancers, really that's why we're here. So that call to action. We really want to encourage people to support this effort. we're working hard, we're creating, we're putting our energy, our strengths, like Tim, you said, and really thank you for, leading us and guiding the way. And we're just here to kind of support it. So and all these wonderful people, all these fellow streamers I've met, we've worked with throughout, for me this year, I've worked and met most of you, have had interactions one-on-one with you. And I couldn't be any more honored to be here this far into it and see that these have been really honest, genuine connections, genuine, real human relationships that we've created to support each other in what really matters, not the superficial, not the metrics, not the vanity, not for all the other stuff that gets lost in social media and that gets lost in sometimes what we do, right? And then the entertainment factors. And so it's nice to have entertainment, but it's also really important that we remember why we're here and our purpose and our missions.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of our purpose and our missions, our goal is over these 24 hours to raise Rob. Our goal is to raise $50,000 over 24 hours. There he is.
Wow.
Rob. And drum roll, we have already, over the first day, even before this event started, we've already raised over $1,000 before we even kicked off the event. So
there we go.
Go us.
49,000 more.
Only $49,000 to go in the remaining hours. So
you're actually over 1,500.
Over 15. Yes. Thank you.
Woo!
Keep climbing. Keep climbing.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Keep it going.
So keep it going. Keep it going. The link, everyone, is down below. Donations.perspectivesoncancer.com. And we appreciate your donations for sure. They go to such an important cause, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And next, I'm going to bring on Nancy Barrows. Nancy Barrows is one of the reasons that I shared my leukemia story, because she created the Radiating Real movement. And she is one of 3 reasons, her movement is one of the 3 reasons that I ended up sharing my story. And if that didn't happen, we would not be here today. So I'm going to bring Nancy Barrows from the far corners of the screen to right there.
Here I am.
Hello,
here
Nancy
I am. How are you guys doing? I love being here. I love this community, the effortless giving. Like, this is a community that, like, you don't have to ask. They want to show up. They want to be there. They want to be involved, and they want to make a difference. And I think that we are all so blessed to be a part of such an amazing, amazing community and such a brilliant event. Thank you, Tim, for inviting me to be a part of it.
Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you. Do you have any connections to cancer? And is there anything else that you want to share your wisdom about?
Sure, I'll do my best. My connection to cancer goes way back. The first memory I have was in high school. My best friend in high school lost her brother to Hodgkin's disease. And part of why I'm here is, yes, my connection to you, Tim, and I cannot celebrate enough the news that you were cancer-free. It makes my heart sing every time. I think that it's amazing. Yay! And that you brought us all in to celebrate you. I love it. But one of the reasons I'm here...
I'm trying to keep that on the down low.
Oh.
The celebrating me part.
Well, I know you're not comfortable with it, but we're celebrating you for so many reasons, if nothing else, for creating this event where there is the opportunity to raise these funds to help so many people. And for me, all of you out there who have not been touched by cancer, we know if you've been touched by cancer, it never goes back. But if you have not had a personal experience yet, I encourage you to donate so that it stays that way. Someone said that, even after the diagnosis, even after someone's gone into remission or is cancer-free, or even, lose that battle, there's still a need. There's always a need. And until we really find the cures for these diseases, we want to keep it so that the people who have not had to live through a cancer diagnosis of themselves, a friend, a loved one, whatever it is, away from this circle of knowing. And so, you guys, every dollar counts. You can donate $1, $1,000, but everything you put toward this cause counts, and it's going to help someone. And I know that a lot of us during the pandemic, our work situations changed and our financial situations changed. And giving $1 may be just too much, and that's okay. We all honor and respect that. And like Stefan said, there's still something you can do. You can share this, but you can also show up. Being here today in the comments and being here throughout the 24 hours to continue to show your support to the live streamers and the cause is tremendous. It's a long haul, you guys, but we're all in it for the long haul, and we need you with us. We need you with us for this to work. We need you opening your hearts and wallets, and we need you showing up to our segments so that we know that you're there and that we are making a difference. Please, anytime you can hop on any one of these live streams, please do. And if you have anything to donate, anything at all, feel free, go for it. Do what you can. I mean, I had said this at another time, I'm donating time. I can donate time and skill. I can donate an hour of the Chick with the Tool Belt and help people find their inner voice and radiate real and have that experience and go forward and inspire others. And I'm also donating an hour of StreamYard, like beginner time. You want to learn? Hey, I can teach you. We had a friend who's donating 20% of the sales of all of his shirts, Uncle Dave, and I have his link in our comments during my segment with Brian Shulman, but I'll get it here, who without being asked said, please, would you allow me to? So think about what you have to give, your heart, your money, your time, whatever it is, an item. I don't know, but we are all beautiful souls. We are all unique, and we all have something to contribute here. So I'm going to stop because I know there's so many other people here that need to say something, but I love you all. And yes, Tim, you are the center of this community. You have brought us all together. I cannot thank you enough for giving us all this opportunity to celebrate. We won't say it's just you, but to celebrate. You know, there's so much heavy around cancer. We all know that, but we're here to celebrate the wins and to celebrate what we can all do to make a difference.
Yes. Thank you, Nancy. And guys, make sure to check out Nancy and Brian are hosting the 10 o'clock Eastern to midnight, 2 hours. So make sure to check them out. And Ashok, do you know how to say his last name, Nancy?
Bhattacharya, I believe.
What she said, he's going to be performing as well during their 2 hours. So make sure to check that out for sure. Okay. Thank you so much, Nancy. So appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, next we're going to bring on the one and only Rob Statham.
Hey,
Rob.
Thanks
Great
for having
to have
me
you
here.
Great to have you on the team for the event, and have had you as a guest on Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer. You know, your dad passed of leukemia, and your sister also, a twin sister, passed of cancer. But I'll let you share your connection. I shouldn't share it for you. And anything else you want to share, Rob, on this special night together?
Well, yeah, it's well, my journey really started with cancer, and my brother, I have an older brother, he lost his wife over 10 years ago to cancer. And then it hit home when my father was diagnosed with CML, which turned to AML, and I watched his battle with cancer for about 3 years. So it was a good almost 3 years. And I saw how he was courageous in the fight. And, you know, he went through multiple blood transfusions. I think he went through transfusions every 3 weeks. I saw the struggle. It's real. And what really hit hard was obviously the loss of my twin sister. She had breast cancer. She had beat it. It came back, metastasized into stage 4 cancer in her liver. And she really didn't have much time. And it's, you know, it's always hard to talk about these things. I think it just gets easier the more you open up about it, you deal with grief. The best way to deal with grief is just to tackle it. But it's so important that we all step up to the plate and we fight this, because this doesn't recognize differences. It doesn't recognize divide and, you know, what political party you support or what culture you were born in, what country, what religiosity. Cancer hits everybody. And it's one of those things that, you know, we saw the world unite over COVID. And to hustle to get, you know, a prototype of a vaccine out, and then the vaccines out to the mainstay public. I would love to see the effort for this to happen. And for the viewers, like we all said, you know, you can give as little or as much as you can. You know, circumstances are different for everybody. If you can't give anything financially, just hit that share button, send a link to your friend, Talk about it, you know, bring out why connecting with others about this topic is so important, because you will reach out to somebody who can also make a financial difference as well as a social difference in our fight against this nasty group of diseases. It's just you know, each day that we're walking this earth healthy is a blessed day. And, you know, Stefan said something very real and very visceral I had on a call earlier today. So we got to show a lot of gratitude for what we do have. I mean, we could be destitute from the ravages of the pandemic. Lots of people lost businesses. We could be in the Ukraine where you're fleeing for your life right now. And these things are real. And I think the only way that we're going to really bridge things together and bridge humanity and cause true inclusiveness is if we put those differences aside. And, you know, starting with something that is as ravishing as cancer is a great goal to step towards, and it's great to really run towards to achieve. And, you know, thank you so much for putting this together, Tim, Dorothy, the rest of you. It's the live streamers, the live stream talent coming up over the next 24 hours is incredible. And for the viewers out there, catch what you can. If you can only catch half an hour of this, you can catch 5 minutes in the next 24 hours. Catch those 5 minutes. Share the link. It could make a huge difference into somebody's life. And I can't remember what you showed, Tim, but you showed a metrics to us all in the back rooms when we were putting this together, how varying degrees of dollars make a huge impact, how just a few $100s can keep a roof over somebody's head while they're being treated for cancer. All sorts of things make a massive difference. And I'm just glad to be part of this because it's a give back from what I suffered and what I lost. And I'm just happy to actually be here on the table to make an impact and make a difference.
Thank you so much. So grateful thank you so much for sharing all that, Rob. Thank you for
anytime, man.
Sharing your heart. Thank you for sharing all your, thank you for having me on your show recently to share about the event.
That was great.
And about my cancer story as well. So next up and last up for this second hour of the event is Mark Lee. We have Mark Lee here. Mark Lee. Actually, this is the first hour. I really have no idea, but I just took him off the screen. Sorry, Mark Lee. I don't know what I'm doing here.
No problem. You know, I'm always glad to have conversations with you and everything.
Here we are. Mark Lee.
Brother, and I just love your spirit. I love what you're all about. I love that we are definitely having this cancer event where we are actually going to try to find money to actually go to get a cure for this horrible cancers that are out there and all of that. And yes, I do have some connections to cancers, various connections actually, and all along those lines actually, as I told you, and I think I told Dorothy when she had me on her show recently and all of that, I actually recently found out that my grandfather, who I knew had passed of cancer, was actually lymphoma. Because like I said, when I was talking to Mom and you would send that letter out about our connections to cancer, I was saying, hey Mom, I know I've got cancer connections. What are these cancer connections? And that's when she reminded me that they thought it was pancreatic cancer, but as he was in his last days, they actually discovered that it was lymphoma. And that we also had a very close family friend, somebody that in our art community here in North Carolina was considered a mentor to many in the field of poetry, theater, and was actually one of the first people that ran the Hayti Heritage Center, which, you know, I do some work at and all of that. But Walter Northlet had also had lymphoma as well. And then I've got friends that are cancer survivors of various sorts, not just the blood cancers, but also breast cancers and other kind of cancers as well. So that is a direct connection that I have and all of that. I do have to teasingly say that I understand what you're saying with those words because my mom came from the philanthropic world. So I'm going to try to get you to say it again. And I'm going to see if I can say it 3 times fast because she would be disappointed if I could not say it 3 times fast since she is a philanthropic person herself and was involved in that philanthropic space. So she might get on my case if I could not say those words as fast as you would like them to be said and all of that. So that was just my teasing comment in that regards, because I've got to get you to say the words and then I'm going to try to repeat them 3 times fast and all along those lines.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Mark. Thank you for sharing all of that. Thank you for being part of the team. Thank you you're going to have a segment tomorrow with the funky
eye puppets. We're looking forward to the funky eye puppets. The funky eye puppets are going to bring you some entertainment. So we're
Yes.
looking forward to that great entertainment. We're going to do it unusual. We're going to plug them in from the clubhouse world and all of that, because sometimes you got to plug things in from other places. So
Yes.
that's like Rachel was doing with her little innovation. We're going to try some innovation as well. So it'll be toward the latter part of this great event, but we're looking forward to this great innovation and looking forward to playing our role in this amazing event that you are participating in. And by the way, as Stephanie has said, as everybody else has said, don't hesitate to share those links. Don't hesitate to share those connections, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Facebook, whether it's a number of other places that are going on. Don't hesitate to do that in the least bit, because it is something that you can do. And that's a way that you can give, even if you can't give money and all of that. And actually and I'm going to announce it right here on the network.
Yes, Markley.
I'm going to shut up after this, but I'm going to announce it right here on the network because Nancy gave me an idea. So we're going to have to come up with an amount. I don't know what that amount is going to be. You're going to have to come up with the amount. But I am part of a larger network, the International Broadcast Media /
everyone, Markley.
So for a certain amount of money, I don't know what that amount is going to be, but if you come up with the amount, I will create a show for folks, but they've got to actually come up with an amount. It's got to be a sizable amount, and we will create a show in order to raise money for this and everything along those lines. Executive decision, and I just made that executive decision. We will create a show.
Thank you, Markley. Okay. Thank you so much, Markley. Peter Clark says a warm hello to all the co-hosts for this event. Thank you for using your voice.
Hey, Peter.
For good. Cheering for you over the next 24 hours. Much respect. A reminder, everyone, we are here with our event, Open Your Hearts and Wallets for Blood Cancers, a 24-hour fundraiser. We are just kicking off hour number 2. We had an amazing hour number 1. Thank you, everyone who is here. DJ Peter Clark, Robert Murray, Terry Tomoff. Thank you to my entire team who is here. I could not do this event without you. Thank you to Pamela Formica, who is here, who is so encouraging. Love you all. I'm going to take a few of you off the screen unless you want to stay. Stefan is going to stay, and Dorothy is going to stay because they're going to talk about during the second hour, guys. We're going to be highlighting there are some amazing individuals and businesses that are donating their products and services that during the final hour of the event tomorrow, which is March 8th. No, tomorrow is March 9th. I will get this figured out. Tomorrow is March 9th. Yes, tomorrow, Wednesday, March 9th at 5 o'clock, during the 5 o'clock Eastern time hour, we're having a drawing, and amazing individuals and businesses have donated products and services. So we're going to be highlighting those during this hour, and some of those people will be here live talking about them now during the second hour. Yes. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone who is here. Love you all. You're all
much love.
Amazing. Much love. Thank you, Rob. Love. Sure. Let us know in the comments, how do you say love? Love. Doc Rock, when you come on, we're going to want to know how you say it. Love. So be ready for that. All right. Here, my wife, do you want to stay on the screen or are you leaving? You're leaving. Love. DJ, are you leaving? Bye, DJ. Mark Lee. Bye, Mark Lee.
Yeah, love.
Love. Okay. We will be right back in one moment. Yes. Love. Stephen Kaplan, how do you say love?
Love. Amour. Amour.
Dorothy O'Dell, how do you say love?
Love.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. All right. I'm going to actually take you guys off the screen, and we're going to be right back for the second segment in 2 seconds. Here we go. Here we go. And we are back. We are back on the Open Your Hearts and Wallets for blood cancers, a 24-hour fundraiser for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. This is hour number 2. We've survived 1 hour. We are now in hour number 2. And this hour, you are going to find out what you can win if you donate, if you monetarily donate. The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society has provided so many services to me. I'm a 15-year leukemia survivor in terms of funding for medication, oral chemo medication, for family support groups that my family attends, in terms of education. They have in-person events. They have webinars. They also do such important research and clinical trials. So during this hour, we're going to be featuring people that and brands, businesses that are donating items to a drawing that will be taking place tomorrow, Wednesday, March 9th. So if you donate to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, go to donations.perspectivesoncancer.com. The link is down below. I'm going to put that in the comments one more time just to make sure everybody sees it. And yeah, so the first victim, the first person that I have the pleasure of bringing on the screen tonight is somebody that I'm excited. Usually, I'm just going to bring him on the screen. I'm just super excited to bring him on. Doc Rock.
Hey. What's happening? Tim, you already know how we say love.
How do you say love, Doc Rock?
Where do I live?
You live in Hawaii.
It's aloha. That's how we say that. Did you watch any old Don Ho videos or Elvis Presley movies? That's how we do it.
Yeah, I love it. It's great to see you, Doc. How are you?
Good to see you. How you doing? Good.
I'm doing great. It's great to have you here tonight.
This is amazing, and you're very, very brave because I've done it before, and it's long. But hey, you're in. You can do this. You got it.
It's hour 2. It's early. I have a screaming goat just in case. Screaming goats solve everything.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes. So Doc, tell everybody who is Doc, why, what business are you with, and why did this business decide to donate to this event?
All right. Well, I'm Doc. I am a community manager at Ecamm. Ecamm, we make cool live streaming software. We actually make a bunch of other stuff, but that's what everybody knows us for. And because of you, man, because you're awesome and we love you. So we're like, Tim said something. All right, cool. I didn't get to do my my upside down Tim thing. And I just got to tell you, brother, when the Super Bowl came on and then I saw 50, I just went Tim.
Oh my gosh. I got to get a screenshot. Totally.
Oh, wait. There you go. That was just a thing that from when I first started, you used to always do that. And I thought it was the funniest thing ever. It was kind of our inside joke. And so I'm fully watching the Super Bowl. And then he came down. The first thing I did was think of you. So just know that you're more cool than 50.
Oh my gosh. And
you're a trendsetter, bro.
Carl Sullivan, I actually met through the Ecamm Live Academy.
Oh, nice.
And he's streaming part of this event.
Cool.
So that's super cool.
I just got stuck at the word bearded, so we're good. Me and Caller, and
yeah.
I only just started growing this right when we first started doing our streaming thing, and now look, trapped in the basement streaming. I'm growing the full on yeared. I got like a couple months left to go.
Yeah. Are you going to be in San Diego for Social Media Marketing World?
Yes, I am. I actually leave tomorrow, so I'm packing, and I was like, you know what? I'll take a break from packing to go bother Tim.
So I'm going to get to meet you in person.
Yeah, real deal Holyfield.
Oh my gosh,
and, Brian and Nancy, like it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Wow, I was just checking kind of getting off track here, but I'm volunteering, and I just got my schedule, and I actually have off during like when they're doing their stuff at eCam. So I'm going to be over there.
Oh,
on
cool.
Monday
Hey
at
man,
noon.
you better come on over. We're gonna have fun.
Yeah.
You know, fun and games and lots of pictures and stuff. And yeah, I can't wait. Like it's super exciting to be able to catch up with, you know, many of the people that we've sort of talk to almost on a daily basis. It seems weird that, you know, like
Yeah.
a lot of these folks we haven't met in meat space before. That's my terminology in real life.
Meat space.
In meat space. So
Hashtag meat space.
yes. So it's going to be really, really cool to have an opportunity to do that. And yeah, you know, a while back I got to go to People Video and got to meet Owen in person. And you know, you talk about just a really incredible guy, right? So it was really fun, and just having the opportunity to meet someone who kind of got me started. This, you know, I say Stephanie's the one who gave me the final push, but I was lurking in the background, you know, like watching Owen stream and Dan Courier, a couple of the folks, and then so meeting him in real life after, you know, he's kind of the person that pushed me to this, which is why when you ask, hey, you want to do another, you know, marathon, I'm like, done, automatic, you know, just not even a thought. Let's dive in. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And thanks for being here, Christina. Christina shows up on the show I do, Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer. So thanks for being here, Christina. Appreciate it.
I like her. She said, never mind upside down. I'm coming straight sideways.
Right? She's just sideways. Let's do a screenshot of us being sideways. Can you do that?
Oh wait, I can do that. I just gotta press a button over here. Look, I can be boom. Wait, I'll be Christina.
Oh man.
Look, there you go, Christina. There you go. Take that.
I love it. I love it. Doc, do you have any connections to cancer?
Unfortunately, way too many. Oh,
really?
It's kind of it's kind of a trip. But when I was in regular people school, what do they call it when we were little kids? It's been a long time ago. I was in junior high school. One of my classmates, and you know, she had cancer, and of course she didn't make it. But the thing that's a trip is when you get introduced to it at such a young age, it is something that puts it into your forefront. And then so it's something that I've always paid attention to. And then recently, one of my real good buddies here, one of my DJ partners, she was like seriously the life of the party. Her name also Christina. We used to call her Super CW because she was just like a superwoman, like really rad DJ. Whenever she came to a party, like, you know, those people that say it's the life of the party. She legit was the life of the party. Like she was always, she came into something, you know, in the beginning of parties, everybody's kind of sitting around going, I'm not gonna be first. I'm not gonna be first. She would just be like, I'll be first, and she'll just dive in and like do a dancing thing and then go play music. And she was literally one of the coolest people ever. And yeah, you know, a long-term battle. And, you know, unfortunately, after maybe 7-8 years after the doctors initially gave her diagnosis, she left us right before the pandemic. But yeah, it's, you know, unfortunately, it is something that you seem like you're always battling. So I'm curious too as to why we haven't made, you know, bigger strides or whatever. So I like bringing it to the forefront just as a reminder. And, you know, it also allows perspective for live streamers talking about like, oh, this is so hard. This ain't hard. You're not allowed to say that. I don't let my students say overwhelming. If my students say overwhelming, I kick them out for a week.
You kick them out.
I don't want to hear that. That's not overwhelming. Like, oh, this new camera I just got it's so overwhelming. You're not allowed to say that. You can't come to class for a week. It's just not fair.
I'll have to remember that, because if I ever sign up for one of your classes, then
right. It's not fair to someone who's battling something that's actually overwhelming for you to be like, oh, this is hard. No, sorry, you don't get to say that. So there it is.
There you go. And now you know if you sign up for one of Doc's classes. Yep. Don't use the word overwhelming.
Don't use the O word. And actually, what is whelming anyway? Have you ever been whelmed?
I don't know. Now I'm going to Google the word whelmed.
You're either overwhelmed or underwhelmed, but I don't know anybody that's ever been just straight up whelmed. Oh man, I'm whelmed. Like, it's not a
term, is engulf, submerge, or bury. A swimmer whelmed in a raging storm, according to the Google.
Did you just Google that? You gotta give prop to the world we live in that you can just double check anything on the fly, which is fantastic to me.
That's right. That's right.
Kind of funny.
Yeah. So So ECAM is actually is donating 3 pro subscriptions and 5 gift cards of $50 each to the merch store. So that's super generous of you guys at ECAM.
I need to win some more of those because that's my wardrobe right there. It's kind of funny. The other day, the wife was like, you got to get rid of some of these regular clothes. I'm like, why? Because your ECAM clothes is taking over. So I just gave a whole gigantic bag to Salvation Army last Saturday. It's kind of funny.
There you go. Well, thank you so much, Doc.
Wait,
yeah.
You made me think of something. You
Yeah.
made me think of something, right? Because somebody mentioned earlier, like, oh, well, what if we don't have, money or whatever like that, right? I think it might have been Mark. And well, this is easy, people. If you are a live streamer or some type of production, any way, shape, or form, you tend to buy gear all the time, and then you replace it when another new piece of gear comes out. And then you're like, okay, well, I don't need that old one anymore. And you put it in the corner and you have a closet full of old gear. Run a quick, like, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist garage sale of that stuff that you're not even using, and then donate that. Simple.
Mic drop.
I'm not. This might cost too much. I can't drop it anyway. I'll drop a Yeti though. I hate those things.
I know. Or we could just do a mic.
Oh my goodness.
We could just do that.
that is awesome. I don't know what I did. I broke my Snapcam doing something goofy, and I have never been able to fix it. I have to erase my machine and put it back. But yeah, I just want to say, I think that is something that anybody can do. You probably have stuff that you might think is no longer of any value is extremely valuable to someone else who doesn't have it. Right. So that's something you can do. Or if you have like a complete system that kind of works, but you just don't use it because you've upgraded it, call your, local, Leukemia and Lymphoma Society and be like, hey, do you guys need an extra computer or something? They'll be like, oh yeah, we'll take that. So, I mean, there's other ways you can do it other than just money, like you said.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Definitely great ideas. All right. Well, thank you, Doc.
Man, I appreciate it.
It's great to see you face to face on a
it's gonna be
screen
rad.
here.
It's gonna be
and I'm gonna
rad.
get to see you in person.
Right. And I'll make sure that I'll figure out some way, shape, or form to rig or something so that I can hang upside down when I see you.
Oh my gosh. If we could figure out a way that we could be both upside down and get a picture of that.
I'm not going to be in traction. I'd be walking around, in the old movies where you always had like Jerry Lewis, he had his arms in the cast and he was like this and he couldn't like move around. That'll be both of us walking around the convention
That would be
center.
so hilarious. We have to make it happen. It's happening. We have to figure it out.
It's good now. We gotta go. They're gonna be why are these two grown men on the playground hanging upside down? I don't get it.
It's happening. It's going down.
Thank you, brother, man.
All
I
right.
appreciate you and congratulations and just keep doing what you're doing. You're a rock star.
Appreciate it, my friend. I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you in person.
Aloha.
Bye. Oh my gosh. Shout out to ECAM for sure. And shout out to Doc Rock for being so generous. We reminder that we are here on the second hour. This is just the second hour of Open Your Hearts and Wallets for Blood Cancers, a 24-hour fundraiser. Yes, this was the idea. I am giving props to Dorothy Odell for the 24-hour idea for sure. And during this hour, we are letting you know what you can win if you donate. And you can donate by going to donations.perspectivesoncancer.com. Just trying to find the link so I could put it on the screen. And here it is. Or if you are more comfortable donating by check, you can make it out to LLS and mail it to my address down here. Just don't come visit me because the bears or the turkeys might get you. So watch out for those. So next, I'm going to bring on my brother from another mother, Stefan Kaplan, who has been so generous as to make a donation of, well, I'll let him tell you what he's donating for the cause. There's going to be a drawing in the last hour on Wednesday. That's tomorrow, March 9th. The drawing will happen between 5 and 6 o'clock Eastern time. And here we go with Mr. Stefan Kaplan.
Hello again. How are you, Tim?
Hello again. This is 2 times in 2 hours.
Actually, it's 2 times in 2 hours and probably 6 times today.
Wow, that is a lot of BFAM time for sure. Yes, and we want to say thank you to everyone who is tuning in from around the world. We have Carl Sullivan, our friend who is live streaming. He'll be live streaming from 5 o'clock to 7
Whoa.
o'clock Eastern time. So thank you to him.
I'm jealous. I'm going to have to start growing a beard. I don't know about you, but there's, between Carl's
Yes.
bearded banter and Doc Rock, I mean,
I know. I feel left out too. Me too. Nancy Barrows was just here. She's in the comments. She's going to be live from 10 o'clock to midnight. And also, guys, if you go to donations.perspectives.com, you can make a donation. And while you're there, the schedule for the entire 24 hours is there as well. So make a donation and find the schedule there also. 2 in 1. Christine Smith says LLS is going to be whelmed with donations. So we were just talking about the definition of whelm before with Doc Rock. And Mariella is amazing. She says, may these 24 hours help stop all cancer forever. And we were having a little fun with Doc Rock before, and you kind of can't blame us because over 24 hours, we'll be using puffs for sure. In the next hour, we're going to have a conversation with Laura Rappa, who's the mom of McCoy, the Girl of the Year for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So for sure, the puffs will be coming out the next hour. And we were just saying hello to Christina, who is sideways.
I love Christina's last name because I have to say it. I went to a French school my whole life. I have to say it. Christina Champeau.
Oh, Champeau.
Champeau.
Let us know in the comments. How would you say her last name phonetically? Let us know for sure.
It's Champeau. Trust me.
Okay. And Lagia is here. Lagia is a frequent flyer at the Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer show. And she is in Costa Rica. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, I always want to go there one day.
Robert Murray is here. He is
love.
He is full of love. He's in Alaska, and he'll be going live from 2 to 5 a.m. Eastern time.
I like
and
the lovity. Lovity is a good word now. I like that. I like that. Lovity.
Lovity, love. Let us know in the comments, how do you say love? We want to know that as well. And he'll be interviewing 2, I believe, cancer survivors from 2 to 5 a.m. Eastern time as well. But Stefan, also Mariella is here. Shout out to Mariella and Byron, her husband, as well. He says "lerv," but he says it really like I can't say it like that. But Stefan, tell us, first of all, what are you donating?
Mm-hmm.
And tell us, why are you donating?
Well, I'm donating because I realized early on when the pandemic hit how much we can do with some of our gifts, and some of our, and I don't mean gifts in terms of pure possessions. I mean in terms of something that we do in our lives that we're so passionate about, and many people tell us it's a gift, and it is. Mine is my love for photography and visuals, as you know. I mean, I am, besides being a social media visual strategist and a live stream producer, I'm a photographer. I've been a photographer my whole life, and I live for taking pictures and creating visuals. And when the pandemic hit, a dear friend of ours, another Tim McDonald, as we know, was diagnosed with a terrible form of cancer, a stage 4 cancer thriver, as he calls himself. And I decided that I was going to put together a whole bunch of my photos over a month. And I went and I pulled about probably 50 photos, and I decided to put them on social channels for about a few months. And I raised a couple of months, actually, and I raised as much money as I could for Tim, and every penny went to him. So I just want to emphasize to people that sometimes we can take something that we do well and we can raise money with it for other people. It doesn't always have to be for profit. It can be for helping other people. And
That's so true.
that's one of the things that I realized about my photography is that my nature photography and my other photography reaches so many people. And I'm blessed to love it so much and to provide joy to other people with it. So that's why I wanted to donate some of my photos to this cause. And, you know, if you donate and Tim, selects, the winners and everything, I've decided to up the ante here. So I didn't
Ooh.
tell Tim about this.
Ooh.
So Tim, why don't you allow me to share my screen for a minute?
Oh, sure. Can you?
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this, and then you
Okay.
can pull it up.
Yeah, sure.
And if you scroll up a little, actually scroll down a little. Well, scroll up a little
I think you have
first.
to do the scrolling.
Oh,
'cause you're
but duh.
It's
It is
okay.
on my side, isn't it?
You're all good.
So you guys can find my Instagram page at Spin It Social, and I'm going to up the ante here. I'm from 2 photos I was going to donate to 5. Okay.
Oh my gosh, 5 photos.
One person each for a donation gets a photo, a nice 8x10 print. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can scroll through my Instagram feed, and pretty much most of the current stuff is probably best. Scroll through a lot of the current stuff. I'd say probably maybe the top, maybe 50 photos. Some beautiful nature photography that I've done since the pandemic started, 50 to maybe even 100 photos back. I don't know how many I take. I take hundreds. And pick a photo that you like if you made the donation. And if Tim picks you as one of the winners, you will get one print of one of my nature photos or any of the photos on my Instagram feed. So 5 winners, Tim's pick, 1 photo each will get one of my photos. You can go to my Spin It Social Instagram page, and you can pick a photo of your choice. Therefore, I'm not giving you a photo of my choice. How's that?
That is so generous, Stefan. Thank you so much.
I want to do that because my nature photography and many of my other photos have really been just making a lot of people smile out there, and that makes me really happy. So because, as you know, I go out every morning, and I actually go to put out a special video or photo every morning for the people of Ukraine, trying to put a smile on someone's face over there if they maybe come across it through a hashtag or whatever else, sending light and love out into the world, as we say, and just making a difference. So that's how I'm going to donate.
Awesome. Thank you, Stefan.
You
are the best BFAM.
You're more
best
than
brother
welcome.
from another mother, and my only brother from another mother that I know of. So thanks for that.
There are not a lot of others running around out there, I hope.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Stefan.
You're welcome.
I'm going to gently lift you off the screen and bring on our next victim. Okay. So thank you, Stefan. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, everyone, a reminder, you are watching Open Your Hearts and Wallets, a 24-hour fundraiser. You are watching the second hour of the 24 hours. This is the See What You Can Win hour during the final hour tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Today is Tuesday. So tomorrow on Wednesday, March 9th at between 5 and 6 o'clock Eastern time, we will hold a drawing. So whoever donates monetarily to this fundraiser will be entered to win. These are the items. Some of the items, I will show more of them in a second, that you will be entered to win. So next I'm going to bring on Dorothy Odell. Hello again, Dorothy Odell. I get to see you again.
I know. How amazing is that, eh?
Yes, everyone shout out Dorothy Odell in the comments. I said, let's do a virtual event. She said, let's do a 24-hour virtual event. So thank you, Dorothy.
You're most welcome, my friend.
So Dorothy, what will you be giving as part of this drawing for this 24-hour event, my friend?
Well, I like how Stefan just phrased it. When we have something that we have our talent, We don't always have to use that talent for profit. And I had wrote a book called The Overcomer, Facing Challenges with Faith and Courage. And it can be found on Amazon, or you can go to my website, www.unstoppableovercomers.com. But I will be giving away 2 free copies to whomever you decide is the winner. So yes, I'll be giving 2 copies of that. And it is my life story of how I overcame being bullied, was in an abusive relationship, had low self-esteem, and family trauma, including the suicide of my uncle. And my parents have been chronically ill pretty much my entire life. So I share those moments in there. It's hard, watching your family go through that, but it's life, right? We all go through things. So I decided that it's kind of lonely when you go through those moments. So I didn't want other men and women to feel that they were alone in those times. So that's why I wrote the book, to help them.
You are inspiring, Dorothy O'Dell. You shared your story, and you definitely inspire me. So thank you. And thank you for your 2-book donation.
You're welcome, my friend.
Super kind of you. Yes. Anything else you want to say?
I just want to say, how amazing is it that these people are showing up in the comments?
Yes.
And we're in an hour and a half of 24 hours.
Yes.
And I just have to say that it's been incredible. Tim's been messaging me all day. How are you feeling? How are you doing?
Yes.
I had shared with him that last week it was, a bit emotional. Thanks, Nancy. A bit emotional leading up to this 24 hours, because, and I shared with him, I am extremely, extremely happy for the survivors that are out there. But for those of us that have actually lost our loved ones, it's hard. But
yeah,
everything's hard. So, you just learn to roll with it and, buck up and keep going. And the whole point of, love you too, Inger. The whole point of this was to raise money for people with leukemia and lymphoma, any blood cancer, and to know that it's going to such an amazing cause. And all of us live streamers are using our talents, and we're giving our time, whether it be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 7 like yourself or more. That's what we're here for. Use our talents.
Yeah.
Use what God gave us.
Yeah, and just the idea of community, and especially on LinkedIn, just so many incredible, so many heart-centered people coming together for this cause is just so. I'm just so grateful for all of you and all of us coming together. It's just no words, just puffs. Shout out to Puffs.
Shout out to Puffs. You asked what we have. We have Royale in our house.
Oh, Royale. Is that a Canada thing?
It could be a Canada thing.
It sounds kind of Canadian. Say out, Dorothy.
Out, Tim. Peace out.
I had to get that in there, right? You're like, that's it. I'm out.
It's peace out, yo, or something. I don't know. I don't know how my stepson says it. I don't know. It's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Dorothy.
My pleasure.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Here we go. Next. All right. Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you, everyone who is tuning in. Everyone who is tuning in the comments. Nancy Legia in Costa Rica. Shout out to Costa Rica. Nancy, shout out to you in LA, in California. Shout out to you, Christine Smith. Shout out to you, Mark Lee. Shout out to Carl in the UK. Shout out to Kenny D. Good evening. Shout out to all of you. You are all freaking amazing. Dorothy, you are good. You are good. So if you need to go do something else, yeah, you're good. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Okay, next we are bringing on, again, the one and only founder of the Radiating Real movement, and my good friend, the one and only, drumroll please, Nancy Barrows.
Hey,
Hello, Nancy
yes,
Barrows.
back again. You're gonna have a hard time keeping me away, really, is gonna be the problem.
That's okay. We like that. We like that.
You know my reputation, right? I
Which
come
one is that?
and then never leave, right?
I am familiar with this reputation.
Yes.
I am.
Show up and never leave.
I am
But
familiar
I'm
with
super
it.
happy to be here and be a part of this. This is really quite a privilege and an honor. Thank you.
Thank you for saying yes for being part of this event. And a reminder that we are here at the Open Your Hearts and Wallets for Blood Cancers, a 24-hour fundraiser for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society Man and Woman of the Year philanthropic competition.
Ooh,
all those words
look
together.
at that, just rolled off your tongue. That was amazing.
And it's only 1 hour and 37 seconds and 13 milliseconds.
37 minutes and 13 seconds.
Whatever those time
Those
thingies
numbers.
are.
Mhm.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, we don't math around. We don't math. That's fine. We're not known
No
for our
mathing.
mathing. That's okay. We're known
No.
for our big hearts and our commitments to one another, and that I think is
Screaming
far more
goats.
important than mathing. And we have our
Okay.
screaming goats, although I have to go find mine for a little bit later. But I'm so
Yeah,
glad
but
to be here, and I'm
anyway.
so happy to see so many people here in the comments. You guys, thank you so much. It makes
Yes.
my heart smile from ear to ear. If my heart had ears, but it does. You get the idea. You know my heart.
Yeah, just like
And thank
that.
you for talking about Radiating Real and the movement. You were a big
Yes.
part of that. You were quite dedicated to Radiating Real, and I think I know that you inspired so many to do the same. And so thank you to you for that. Thank you for being brave. Thank you for coming on Connected Human Conversations and sharing your story and inspiring even more people. Thank you for putting this together. I could keep going. How many hours do we have?
Yes. We have 20 more minutes in this hour. So Nancy Barrows, what
Yes.
are you donating
Well, I am
from your
donating.
heart or from wherever you're donating from?
I'm
for
donating. I
this?
am donating from my heart to help others, as always. I
Yes.
am donating an hour of Chick with the Tool Belt time. So Chick with the Tool Belt, it's not straight up coaching, because really what I do is I help you discover what's already inside of you. And Tim, I know you've unofficially done this with me.
Yes.
You have allowed me to join you on your journey and to help you find your inner voice, right? For each and every one of us has a powerful story. We each have a way that is comfortable for us to share that story and that voice. And so the whole idea is really find your inner voice, get comfortable with how you want to put your voice out there in the world so that you are seen, heard, and valued, and to understand why personal content is really a very powerful professional tool. But for the most part, really, I'm out there really wanting people to be seen and heard and find what's in them and show up authentically. Take your mask off and receive that unconditional love and that unconditional acceptance. And in doing so, you give others permission to do the same. So I am donating an hour of Chick with the Tool Belt time where we can work together and find that inner voice, strengthen that inner voice, and create something that you are proud to put out there that represents you, your heart, your ideas, everything that encompasses who you are as a human. I'm also donating an hour of StreamYard beginner help on StreamYard. So I jumped on StreamYard and was through taking both Tim's class and the generosity of people around me, learned how to use StreamYard. And so I'm a big believer in pay it forward. So for someone who maybe is starting out, and this is one of the steps that is keeping you from going live, we need to hear your voice. You matter, you're important. So please allow me to help get you started on StreamYard so that you can start your journey of live. And so that's really what I'm giving. I just wanted to be able to give others the gifts that have been given to me. It is a privilege to watch people discover their inner voice and the power that they hold. And every time I work with someone with Chick with the Tool Belt, I get that gift. And so I wanted to pass that on to others and really show how much I appreciate people opening their wallets, opening their hearts, and being here to support one another this evening. It is a pretty incredible event you've put together here, and a pretty incredible community that you have gathered, all of which reflects on you and what you put out to the world being returned to you. through this event in so many other ways, Tim Sohn. I say it all the time, you inspire me every day.
I appreciate that, Nancy Barrows. And there is something to be said about the power of using your voice, and the Radiating Real movement really helped me find that. So thank you. As the king of deflection, I will deflect back to you.
Yes,
but thank you for
well,
sure.
We can have a great game of deflection ping pong going if you would like.
Yes, not right now because we have 20 minutes left in this hour.
All right.
I'm in person deflecting all the time.
There you go. I will continue to deflect in my head. But I'm so looking forward to seeing everyone in the next coming hours. You guys keep showing up. It makes such a difference. Showing up is giving. Know that is absolutely 1000% true. And keep showing up with your beautiful hearts. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Nancy. Bye. All right. Thank you so much, Nancy Barrows, founder of the Radiating Real movement. That sounds so official. Don't you like that, Nancy? Founder of the Radiating Real movement. Okay. We are here in the second hour. We are in the last 20 minutes of the second hour of Open Your Hearts and Wallets for Blood Cancers, a 24-hour fundraiser. This is the See What You Can Win hour. And we're just so grateful for everyone, all the amazing individuals and businesses who are donating different products and services, so we can have a drawing in the final hour tomorrow, Wednesday, March 9th, in the 5 p.m. Eastern hour. We'll be having a drawing. Anyone who monetarily donates between now and the end of the event tomorrow during these 24 hours will be entered to win a number of prizes that people and businesses have donated. So next, we are going to bring on the one and only Gretchen Shepard. I'm excited to meet Gretchen. I have not met her before. We have been exchanging emails, but I'm going to bring her on the screen right now. Welcome, Gretchen.
Well, hi. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate being here.
I'm excited, and I love your frame, and you look so fancy over there.
Well, you know, that's tonight will be my 111th live show on YouTube, and I've gone,
wow.
And I started with, if you go back to the one, you laugh your head off because there was nothing. And I started it as kind of a challenge to myself, because I'm a photographer and I wanted to share my things, and the show completely evolved to something totally different. But in the meantime, I started a trial with eCam, and it kind of just evolved into this whole thing. And so that background you see actually is one of my photographs that I took into Topaz and played around with, and then did some art things with, and learned how to do that framing around it. And so that's what my show, what I do is I'm a retired librarian besides being a photographer. So that's a whole different part, because I do story and art, and I read children's books every night to adults who are just like, oh my God, I didn't know about these books. They're so cool. And then we do art stuff around them. So yeah, but
that is so cool.
I'm glad to be here, but thanks for all of that. It's kind of a creative outlet for me when you can't get out as far as way as you wanted to with your camera, or you're doing things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, well, welcome. Do you know Stefan Kaplan by any chance?
No.
You don't know Stefan? You guys should connect. He's a photographer as well, and creative, so maybe you guys can connect.
Nice. I'll have to. That would be great.
Yeah, so welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Do you have any connections to cancer, Gretchen?
My sister, I have 3 older sisters. I'm number 4 of the 4 girls, and we've all had. I had a melanoma on my lip. I want a small one. Carolyn had cervical cancer years and years ago. Patty's had some skin cancer, my oldest sister. But my sister number 3 is battling a second round with breast cancer after it came back after 19 years. And she spent the past 4 years going to different doctors saying, this is not right, something's wrong, and being told, oh, you're just fine. And finally, when things were going really rough, she went to see a plastic surgeon because it was this scarring and everything. And he said, whoa, that's totally wrong. And boom. So we're supporting her there. It's a thing, and yeah, I've had several friends that have had. I've lost a couple friends, but also battled other friends through things to great. You know, it's a journey and it's a battle, and it's something that we need to push back at. And when we push and when we bond together, we can really work toward it against it and fight this thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So is that why you wanted to be involved with this event?
Yeah, I think it's partly that any way I can help. It's one of those things that we can't always. I'm used to being out and about and going places, and of course we haven't been able to. And I spent 35 years as an elementary school teacher, and then, well, the first 17 in the classroom and the last 18 as the elementary librarian, every day with things and doing things and being able to do things that made a difference. And
of course,
this is a way to still do that. It's not as tangible as hands-on necessarily, but I know that down the way, and it will make a difference. We had a student one time at our school years and years ago that you could probably find some video of this someplace, but he was a little 5-year-old that in our school that was battling cancer, and one of his classmates decided to grow his hair out and for locks for love, and he grew it out and grew it out and grew it out. And when they cut it and they brought it and they drove a Zamboni, one of those things that drive on the ice guy. Yeah. So they drove it from Seattle to Monroe, which is like 20 miles for this whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
As a celebration of what they'd done as a fundraiser, and this little, his classmates doing this, these 5 and 6-year-olds doing this for their classmate. When things like that happens, me donating a picture is nothing.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, we've all been affected so many ways the last few years.
Yeah.
Right. I was before COVID, I was also out and about so much, and I miss that as well. Being out with people, and I'm sure many of us do.
Oh, we do. We do.
Yeah.
But but the thing is that I think one of the amazing things about this is that would I have ever connected with you in this element, in this way for this event, if it hadn't been for that? Would we have this? Right. I don't think I would have done my YouTube channel. I wouldn't have been doing some of the things. I would have been probably setting up at an art fair, going around or doing something like that. And this is pretty. You got to look at the bright side,
and
the good things,
it's
and
so true.
Keep a positive attitude all the way through. And so that's what I think one of the things that drew me to you when I saw you on, I think it was on one of Brian's lives and something else, and you just, the grin on your face. I'm sorry, but I go for a grin. It was really fun. You just exude that. So my motto is look for the beauty hidden in plain sight. And I close my show every night by saying, go look for the beauty hidden in plain sight. And the first place to go look is in the mirror. And, you're just one of those people that it's right there. It's just shining through.
Wow. Thank you. Wow.
So, do you want to see what I'm donating?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
please,
let's see if I can do this.
Absolutely.
See how fancy I got. Okay, there's the photo.
Yeah.
Okay, this is called, and it's on metal. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can even make it bigger over here.
It's a 22 by 14, I believe. Yes, I think that's the size I told you. I call it Rugged Life. Okay. It was on a road trip I took. This was in South Central Oregon. We pulled over the side of the road, and just the fact that this was a totally gravel covered area that had been, completely 3-4 inches deep in gravel. And there was this one plant pushing up, this tumbleweed type plant, pushing up through with its brambles and sticker bushes and everything.
Yeah.
And I thought when I thought, what could I, this is the resilience. This is the push. And so I call it rugged life. Black and white is kind of one of the things I love. So my grandmother gave me my first camera when I was 10. So it was hers and it's sitting behind me. So I'm a black and white fan. So yeah, that's what I'm given.
That is awesome. That is
Yay.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Oops. Sorry, we have had a crazy afternoon. Daughter called, grandkids need to be picked up. My husband, somebody's supposed to be showing up to fix a couch. And I'm like, no, I've got someplace to be and to be on. If they're out there, they can wait.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Gretchen.
Okay.
So appreciate it. Anything else that you want to share?
No, I think that's what it is all about, is that, really, folks, I'm excited to have people support this, because any little thing we can do in any area of fighting cancer, blood cancer, or whatever cancer it is amazing. And to have people like you step up and lead that. And I think sometimes we think it has to be a huge thing to make a big difference.
Yeah.
But, we forget that there's a gajillion people on this planet, and if each one of us does a small to medium size effort, whoa, what a difference that makes. So I know this is not a small to medium sized effort that you're doing. This is kind of gargantuan. This goes on the big side. It's pretty big. But for those of us who are stepping in to do things, we're doing that small to medium, and it's still it's awesome. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Terry is saying beautiful photography.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
And Inger as well. That is beautiful, Gretchen.
Yeah.
And Bill Tomoff as well says, love your perspective.
It's one of those things. I'm kind of people often say, well, do you do people? And I'm like, I'll do my family, but I'd rather stand in front of a bear than a bride. Quite frankly. And I've done both. I've taken photographs at weddings and I've stood in front of 7 Alaska brown bears not too far away from me, and I'm like, much rather stand in front of the bears. They're much more civilized sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
But
okay.
no,
well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gretchen. I really appreciate it.
You guys have a great event, and I will keep dropping in.
I love it. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much, Gretchen. Thank you, all of you who are tuning in. Russ Hedge, Jenny Gold is looking forward to interviewing Boyd Dunleavy tomorrow, a leukemia survivor, tomorrow from 1 to 2. He is training for his 10th marathon, guys, the Boston Marathon. Talk about an overcomer. That's amazing. We are in our second hour, almost in our third hour of 24 hours, guys. This is such an incredible event. And I'm going to bring on our next amazing person here who is donating something incredible. And you guys have already seen something incredible during this event so far, but I'm just going to bring him on the screen because he's amazing. He has a huge heart and huge talents, and I'm just going to bring him on the screen. Dan Hall.
Hey, Tim. So good to see you. So good to see you. So why don't you just show them what they're getting?
Oh my gosh.
Why don't you just...
Are you guys ready?
Yeah,
ready
so
for this?
We'll show them. Get your popcorn out.
Get your popcorn. Go get your pop. But don't go too far.
How cool is that?
Whoa.
How cool is that? So actually, there's two things that I'm donating.
Okay.
Tim. The first is you get to work with me and developing your own opener video. It could be on LinkedIn. It could be on any of the social media platforms. I've done openers for Brian Schulman and Nancy Barrows, Rachel Druckenmiller, and you get to work with me. And we'll craft something, a 30-second intro with a countdown timer, something with your branding. So it'll be epic. Anything that I put out is usually pretty epic. The second thing is if you are on LinkedIn, I am giving away the only lifetime subscription to Impulse. I'm donating that to this cause because my mom passed away of cancer. She fought breast cancer. And in 2020, my brother, my best friend, Dave, passed away from stage 4 glioblastoma. So it's the least I could do, man. Least I could do. So if you don't know what Impulse is, it's the only software in the world that will allow you to export any LinkedIn post to this massive Excel spreadsheet. And if you talk to anybody that's out there that's used it, it's just so much data. All your comments, all your mentions and hashtags, everything is right there in front of you. And you can click and get right to the comments from the spreadsheet. You don't have to troll through LinkedIn to get any of that. So this is a lifetime subscription. There's no monetary value associated with it because it is a priceless offer. It is just like you, Tim. You're priceless. Everything that you do.
Oh, you're too much.
For showing up, and you're not deflecting it because I'm putting my
Yes, I
shields up.
am. Yes,
I'm
I
putting
am.
my shields up.
Always be
Yeah.
deflecting. Always be deflecting for sure.
Yeah. So you're just an amazing soul, and I appreciate you. Appreciate how you elevate the community.
Well, I appreciate you, Dan Hall. I appreciate your huge heart and your donation. It's incredible. This incredible video that you created for this event. It's just amazing. And I was thinking, who could create a video that has the heart, literally the heart? The name of this event is Open Your Hearts and Wallets for Blood Cancers. And I immediately thought of Dan Hall because you have a huge heart, and I didn't even know your connections to cancer when I thought of you. So I just appreciate you so much, and thank you so much for all that you do. And yeah, no words, my friend.
Thank you, Tim. I know you're running against your next hour here, so thank you everybody for showing up.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Dan Hall.
All right. Take care.
Appreciate it. Okay. All right, everyone. We are at 8:00 Eastern time. This is hour number 3. Goodbye, Stephens Kaplan. I see you in the green room. No. You want to come on? You want to come on the screen? Okay, but we have to get going to the next hour. Yes?
I have a great special announcement.
Oh, you have a special announcement. Okay.
We have another donor.
We have another donor.
Well, for a gift.
Oh, for a gift. Okay.
So Rose Horowitz,
Yes.
who, of course, founded Women to Follow.
Yeah, shout out to Women
Her
to
husband
Follow.
is an incredible author, children's author.
Yes.
And he writes children's books. So if you allow me to share my screen real quick again.
Really, really quick, because we have to
really
get going
quick.
with showing
Really
up.
quick.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going there.
Yes.
Where is it? Hold on.
Yes.
I'm gonna find it. Hold on. I'm looking. Give me one second.
Okay.
Oh God. Hold on.
Thanks for your patience, Laura.
Okay.
I see you back there.
Hold on. I got it. Okay. It's coming.
Okay.
I got it. Okay. Here we go. I'm going.
Okay, here we go. Share. Oh, look.
All right.
I see the
So
cloud.
Alan Katz, Alan Katz, Katz, is a great children's author. Like I said, he's won many awards. He's been all over the place. He wrote this great new book, Misty the Cloud, A Very Stormy Day. And Alan will, for a donor of your choice, will donate one book to one of your winners of choice.
Oh, that's awesome.
So Rose just called me and she said, I just wanted to let you know we wanted to help Tim.
That's awesome. Could you do me a favor, Stefan, and just like send me a text or something in writing, just so
I'll send it to you via carrier pigeon. How's that?
I don't know if I'll get a carrier pigeon, but if you could just send me a text.
You said no.
You
said nothing gets delivered to Shahola, so I'm sending a carrier pigeon.
Well, you know what I mean. Okay. Thank you, Stefan. You're incredible. Yes, thank you. All right. You're the best. All right, here we go. Okay. So, guys, a reminder, we are here. This is the 3rd hour of Open Your Hearts and Wallets for Blood Cancers, a 24-hour fundraiser. This is the 3rd hour. This is a special edition of Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer. I am Tim Sohn, your host, and we are going to get started just like we normally do. Just like this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special episode number 18 of Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer. Kara Ulker and I created this show as a safe space where cancer survivors and cancer supporters come together to share their stories and connect, as well as find resources that provide healing, hope, and resilience. I am Tim Sohn, a 15-year cancer survivor, host of Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer, co-host of the Tim and Jim Show, and a live streaming producer. I am also a candidate for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Man and Woman of the Year philanthropic competition. Try saying that 10 times in a row. I dare you. And this very special episode is part of Open Your Hearts and Wallets for Blood Cancers, a 24-hour fundraiser which runs until 6 o'clock Eastern time on Wednesday, March 9th. That's tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Every dollar truly counts. You can donate online by going to donations.perspectivesoncancer.com, or to donate by check, make it out to LLS and mail to my address, which is in the comments, but do not try to stalk me because the bears and the turkeys will get you. So watch out for that. So please let us know where you are tuning in from around the world, and let us know your connection to cancer, whether you're a cancer survivor, someone in your family has passed from cancer, or any other connection you have to cancer. We want to know in the chat. We want this to be an interactive conversation with you. We so appreciate you being here, and we truly appreciate all of you who are commenting during this show. Tonight, I'm delighted to have a conversation with Laura Rappa, the mom of McCoy, who is the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Girl of the Year for the Lehigh Valley. Also, don't go anywhere because we might just have a dance party later. Just saying. So now we're going to welcome Laura onto the show. Hi, Laura.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Great. Thank you so much for having me. This is exciting.
Yes, everyone has been so excited to have you on the show. And so to start off, we're just going to go over to the comments and see who's showing up to support you and McCoy tonight. Steve is here. She says, great show, Tim Sohn and Kara Ulker. You had the chance to meet Kara Yeah, she has since moved on, but yeah. So thank you, Steve. Steve's one of the people that inspired me to share my cancer story. So he'll be on the midnight to 2 a.m. shift with Kara. So they'll be burning the midnight oil. Stefan says, hi, Tim, still here, just not backstage anymore. Thanks for letting me know. And so many people are here. My sister is here. My sister, Eileen Sohn, is here. Hi, sister. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone, for being here to show up to support Laura and McCoy. We really appreciate it. And as we go through the conversation, let us know what questions you have in the chat, and definitely show lots of love for Laura and McCoy in the chat as we go through the conversation. So Laura, McCoy was diagnosed with acute leukemia at age 4. Could you just share a little bit about her journey with us, and how's McCoy doing now?
Yeah, I would love to. So as you said, McCoy was diagnosed she was about 4.5 years old with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. She was upon diagnosis, she was classified as high risk because of her elevated white blood cell count. She's doing, to skip forward to your at the second part of your question, just so everyone knows, she is doing really well. She's a tenacious, incredibly vibrant, almost 7-year-old. So on March 19th coming up, she's turning 7, and it's also going to be her last chemo. So we are going to celebrate. Yeah, it's a huge day for us, and 2.5 years in the making. So we're super excited to celebrate. But with that being said, 2.5 years, it's been a long journey, full of lots of ups and downs, but she's doing well. But to start from the beginning, she was such a typical 4.5-year-old, full of a lot of energy and tons of questions all the time, just very typical. And she was involved in a lot of things, and we were taking her horseback riding, and she started preschool, and I was noticing September, October that she was super tired. I would pick her up from school and she was falling asleep in the back seat. And I remember, she's our only child. So I remember asking my sisters and other moms, like, is this typical? She seems really tired. And they were like, yeah, it's adjusting to school and a regimen and a schedule. And, I'm sure that's all it is. And as the months went on, she was having fevers and just a lot of like cold-like symptoms, but it was a lot of up and down. And like any mom, I took her to the pediatrician 3 times, and they kept on saying, well, it's they'd strep test her and say she doesn't have strep, but it's a virus. And she'd be good for a couple of days, and then she'd be falling asleep at 5 o'clock and losing, she'd look really pale and didn't have a ton of an appetite and couldn't even stay up for my husband to come home from work and see her. And so I took her back, and finally it was like, there was that mother's intuition that I felt in my gut that there was something else going on, and that I wasn't going to rest until we could get to the bottom of it. So after some blood work, we got that phone call at the middle of the night. Actually, I slept through it because I was not expecting. I thought it would be like, my only experience with blood work was they call you the next day or the day after. It was, anything concerning. So I knew something was wrong, but my brain wouldn't allow me to go to cancer or to anything, very serious. I thought it would be something that we'd have to address and move on. And so we got the phone call saying she needs to be taken to the emergency room. Her blood levels were critically low. Her hemoglobin, they asked me if she was conscious because her hemoglobin was 2.3, which apparently is so incredibly low that, if she wasn't a child, she probably would have been in a really rough place. But as we know, kids are super resilient. So the day before, she was running around my kitchen countertop. So, so, and that's the thing with kids, is they are resilient. So in some ways, I think they might be a little bit harder to diagnose because she would have these just ups and downs. But so once we got the official diagnosis, it was sort of that, I always refer to that day as like the great divide, where we have separated our lives in the before and the after. And we're thankful that there is and after. And so that's not lost on me, but it definitely was life changing. It still is life changing. But there's been a lot of beauty in our journey. I like to call it collateral beauty. So it's not a club anyone wants to sign up for. But with that being said, I try to see the positives, and that's why I'm here. I want to advocate on behalf of other blood cancer patients, and LLS is so near and dear to my heart. I love what they're doing. They've made such amazing, progress in treatments, but there's still more to do. And so I, like you, I won't stop talking
I love
about
it.
we need to continue and ask for help.
Yeah.
And that's been something in my journey that I've had to, it's a humbling experience to have to ask for help, but this is much bigger than any of us. It really is. There's, as you were saying before to your previous guest, there's not a single person that's not touched in some way by cancer. And so if we can do something to help and to give back and make diagnosis better, better outcomes, better treatments, then by all means, I'm willing to help in any way.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing all of that. And a reminder to everyone, we are here on a special edition of Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer with Laura Rappa, the mom of McCoy, the Girl of the Year for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And Laura, we have a question from Daniel Hall. He says, Laura, what is your most memorable moment with McCoy?
Oh, wow. So along our journey, I think there's several things that stand out to me, but oftentimes there would be situations where I would be so just dreading, like, how are we going to tell her what's coming next? And so very early in her treatment, she started to lose her hair, and she had long, long blonde hair, and she's 4.5. So I don't know that she was personally connected to it, but as a mother, I was, very much so attached to her hair, and would braid it in the morning, and it would just, it was part of our routine. So I would, in the hospital, I would brush out her hair, and it was just coming out in clumps. And I finally was like, it was so stressful to see the hair falling out that I said to her, and it was all over her pillow, and it would get in her food. And so I said, what do you want to do here? Do you want to cut your hair? And mind you, she had never had a haircut. So even that was like a foreign, thing. So she said, I don't know. What does that mean? And I explained it to her, and I said, you won't have hair, and that's just, it is what it is. And she was like, well, you know what? This summer when I was eating s'mores, my hair would get caught in the marshmallow, and that was really awful. So, yeah, let's cut it. And it was moments like that. And that's just a silly example, but there's so many of those moments along the way that she checked me and realized, like, I was so worried about this horrible, awful thing that was coming. And she would just spin it and be like, hold on, wait, this might be okay. This might work into our advantage. And so there are just so many times along the way like that. And those memories are awesome to think about. She has given me such perspective, and anyone that, obviously I'm biased, she's my daughter, but anyone that's around her will say, like, she just is sunshine and sass, and, she lives in the moment, and she's incredibly present. And so it's those moments that, it's not anything big or huge or significant. It's just the little things along the way and the time that I was able to spend with my daughter. I appreciate that so very much. So thank you for that question.
Yeah, thanks, Dan Hall. And I love what you're sharing. I have a 7-year-old daughter, Caitlin. So what you're saying, they just sound very similar in what you're saying. So she doesn't have cancer, but
yeah, I'm sure they'd be besties right away. And
probably, yeah.
The beautiful thing about children. Even when McCoy, we'd take her, on a good day when the weather was nice and she was feeling well enough, we'd take her to the park, and kids would be curious as to why she had no hair, and she looked very ill. She was very thin and pale, and had a lot of bruising, and just she did not look like a well child, but she'd want to play and she'd want to keep up. And I remember a little girl coming up to her and just very, very point blank saying, why don't you have any hair? And McCoy was like, I take medicine, my hair makes my hair fall out. And the little girl was like, okay, want to go on the swings? It was just beautiful. It was like, it wasn't a big to do. It was just, and that's beautiful about children. They just are like, curious, but you give them an answer and they're like, that works. Let's go play. Let's be friends. So gotta love that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Oh my gosh. So Laura, that part of the conversation was so light, but how did you go about telling McCoy that she was sick at such a young age? Like, how do you have that conversation?
Yeah.
How did you have that conversation?
So I am very fortunate that we, at the hospital where my daughter is treated at, that we have the most incredible child life specialist. Her name is Devin, and we absolutely adore her. And that was a huge fear of mine, that I was having a hard time as an adult I had no previous experience with leukemia. My only previous experience with cancer was, what you read and see. And so to me, cancer was very much so equated with loss. So I was, how, even in that moment when we got the phone call, I remember breaking down, crying to my husband, and then saying, we have to go wake up our daughter who's sleeping in the next room. And I don't want to scare her, but like they told us on the phone, she needs to be taken to an emergency room immediately. They were incredibly concerned with possible hemorrhaging her. She had no platelets. She was sick. And, we went into her room and we were like, we're going to go on an adventure. Because what do you say as a parent? You just want to you want to protect them. But once we were at the hospital and we had the diagnosis, we knew that we weren't going to be able to hide the significance of what was ahead. And our child life specialist, Devin, sat down in the hospital with us, and she brought this little stuffed duck that's actually donated by Duck Donuts. So it's called a chemo duck, and it's a program that they do. They donate these little stuffed ducks to all of the children's hospitals, and the duck has a port. So we knew we were preparing McCoy to have her port installed so that we could start chemotherapy immediately. And so McCoy had never even had, a cut or stitches. So this was a surgery. She was going to have this device in her body for many years. And so we had this little chemo duck, and Devin sat down. I sobbed the whole time silently, but she spoke to my daughter in a way that was so beautiful and told her that her blood is sick and that she needed medicine, and that the medicine was going to make her blood well. But in the process of making her blood well, she would get sick and she would feel pretty awful, and she would lose her hair, and she might stop walking, and she might have a lot of pain, but that we were going to support her along the way, and that we would be 100% honest with her. If something was going to hurt, we'd tell her it was going to hurt. But that we would be there, and we wouldn't ever not be there. And, McCoy listened to Devin, and never, for a child who has so many questions and never stops talking, she listened. Really, you could tell that she was processing, and she understood. And, from that moment, she's been very accepting. I've never heard McCoy say, why is this happening to me? Why me? Why am I sick? Once in a while, she would get frustrated with things like not being able to go, like she wanted to go on the beach or, do stuff that we were like, we can't do that. Your immune system is way too compromised. And so once in a while she would say that, but never like, why me? Just more like, well, that stinks. And then we'd explain stuff. My go-to line was always, my job as your mom is to protect you, and you might not always be happy with my answers, but I look out for your best interest. And she was accepting of that. But it's interesting. The question you ask is interesting, because having the conversation with McCoy and telling her that she was sick was such a small piece of it. It's now the years later and the conversations that we're going to have further down the road that I'm most anxious about.
Really?
Yeah, as she's getting older and she's understanding, and unfortunately, we are experiencing some loss right now. She's gained amazing friends throughout this journey, other kids in treatment, and the truth is that not every single one of our kids is having the outcome that we so want. And so there's several children right now actively dying, and those are the conversations that I fear the most. And explaining to her that, that she's doing so well, but not everyone, not all of her little friends are going to be doing as well. And then conversation in the future of the life-saving medicine that she was given, that we're so incredibly thankful for, have some pretty serious long-term side effects for a small child. These are adult medicines. They're not medicines made for children. We give them in slightly smaller doses, but they're still adult medicine. And for a child who's rapidly developing, and it has some really profound impacts on them. And so I worry about those conversations in the future of what we're going to have to address, and something that, happened to her at a really young age will have a continuing impact on her into her future. And that's tough as a mom. I wish I could say that we could tie this up in a nice little box and say that's behind us, but it never will truly be behind us or her.
Yeah, of course. Of course. And Daniel Hall is bringing us to a slightly lighter place. Laura, does McCoy draw pictures? If so, what does she like drawing?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I love my child, but we're still trying to find the thing that she is great at. I don't know that drawing is one of them. She's still mastering the stick figures, and we have a little French bulldog who is pretty darn adorable, but McCoy draws her like a cinder block essentially with stick legs and some ears. So she's just like a square chunk of a dog. That's usually her go-to. She likes a stick figure dog, a stick figure horse. Those are her things that she likes to draw, but she's also really into rainbows. So everything is a rainbow. She's big into, and that she does fairly well, but I think maybe everyone draws the rainbow fairly well. So we think she's beautiful and talented and gifted, but I'm not sure that she is a budding artist, but she does love to draw and color. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And Senor Payasato is wondering if you were talking about Dunkin' Donuts by any chance.
Yes. Yeah. Is that what the name of it is? Dunkin' Donuts. I think
he's trying to confuse Duck Donuts and Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Senor Payasato shows up every week for our show and always makes silly comments. So we appreciate them, because on a cancer show, you learn to appreciate silly comments.
For sure. Sure.
Yes. And James is here. Hey, James, thanks for being here. He was a previous guest on the show, so we appreciate you being here. And Jenny Gold is here. She said, every dollar counts for children too. Please open your hearts and wallets and donate here. And Jenny's mom just recently passed of cancer, so sending her lots of prayers and love.
Yes, absolutely.
For sure. Bill says, children fighting cancer are forced to grow up too quickly. Loss of friends passing is very real.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. In many ways, I think we've kept McCoy very innocent and young, and she's very much a typical 7-year-old. She has some interesting thoughts and perspectives, and I think she understands in the best way possible, to her best ability, that her friends are sick, and that not every child grows up in a hospital like she has. And we know that she has some angel friends that passed, that she never met, but that I've become close with their mothers. So we pray for her angel friends often. So she understands that, we talk about the concept of heaven and death, obviously in an appropriate way for a 7-year-old, but I know that conversation is coming very soon, for her little friend. And it's going to be very difficult. And I wish I could protect her from it, but I can't. So we'll be honest with her and we'll tell her that. But I agree with you, Bill, that she, a lot of her other friends in treatment, they grow up way too entirely fast. And in some ways they're stripped of their childhood. And, there's just nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. So I try to control the things that I can control, and just recognize that, in some ways she is aged beyond her years, and that's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, and Bill's wife Terry is going to be showing up. I'm not exactly sure when yet, but I had a conversation with her recently, and their son cancer as well, and several rounds of cancer. So definitely thanks for being here, Bill and Terry. Appreciate you all being here and showing up. Inger says that must be really tough, Laura, sending you many hugs.
Thank you. I feel them. I appreciate it.
Daniel says that's awesome about the French bulldog.
She brings a lot of laughs to our house for sure.
Stefan says he feels a McCoy children's book coming on. Call it Stick Dog Love.
I like it. I'll take that into consideration for sure.
Oh my gosh. Thank you all for being here. And a reminder that we are here in the 3rd hour of Open Your Hearts and Wallets for Blood Cancers, a 24-hour fundraiser for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Man and Woman of the Year philanthropic competition. Yes. I'll get it eventually. So the link is down below to donate if you'd like to donate. The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society has been so helpful to me and my family through my 15-year journey with leukemia, living with leukemia in so many different ways. And I just can't encourage you enough to, if you can donate as little or as much as you can. It's just so important, the work that they do.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So Laura, let's back up a little bit. After McCoy was diagnosed with leukemia, what was your gut reaction to her being diagnosed?
If I'm being completely honest, in that very moment, standing in the emergency room, in our room within the emergency room, it took every ounce of my strength to not grab my child and run. That was my immediate reaction. I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. And I, obviously the critical thinking part of my brain knew that we were where we needed to be and that treatment would start, and, that we were going to fight. But I just, I think that the mama bear in me just wanted to take my child and run, because unfortunately what I knew was coming from just this brief conversation with her doctor in that moment was that there was going to be some pretty significant pain and pretty significant trauma. And, as a mom, I wanted to protect her from the very thing that was going to save her life. And that was an interesting grapple within me, to know that I would have to watch my daughter endure things that, a child should never have to endure. And that was what we had to do to ensure that she would have a future. So yeah, that was my immediate reaction. And then I think after that, I just got down to, okay, we're fighting. I need to be educated. I need to read everything and read every research, every clinical trial that was available, because with McCoy, her diagnosis was high risk leukemia, but she didn't reach minimal residual disease, or MRD negative, in her first round. So they bumped her up to an even higher classification. She has neutral genetics, so not good, not bad. So we enrolled in a clinical trial to ensure, that there would be other options. So she was in the CAR T therapy trial. We went through another heavy duty round after the failed MRD, and she did reach clinical remission after that round. So we ended up in the control arm of the trial. So she's still in that trial. And to me, that was a no-brainer. I know that there were some incredibly brave parents that came before my child's diagnosis that signed their children up for trials. And that's the reason why we have better outcomes and prognosis. So I'm hoping, there's a lot of, and thanks to LLS, I don't know how many people know, but I mean, they have really put a lot of money towards the CAR T trials. And so approved for blood cancer patients, but being used in, I know personally a child who extended his life by about 9 months that was diagnosed with DIPG, terminal brain cancer upon diagnosis, 0% survival rate. And he was patient 2 in the CAR T trial for brain cancer. And, the trial itself worked. Unfortunately, he had complications from his tumor and passed away. But there's a lot of hope there of, here's a cancer that is considered, there's no survival rate. And to know that the work that LLS has done to help the prognosis for blood cancer patients is helping other cancer patients that are getting little to no funding because it's a terminal 0% survival rate. That's why I will always support LLS, because I just think the impact is profound and it's far reaching. So yeah, that's a lot of heavy stuff. Sorry.
No.
So I did a lot of research, and LLS came, I found a ton of information from LLS. LLS helped our family in many ways, but that was sort of my approach. It was like, okay, what do we need to do? What do I need to do? I need to be empowered, educated. And as I know it's different with you being an adult, having leukemia, you empowered yourself. I had to be the advocate for my child. And so I took that very seriously, and, and trust her doctors fully. And they've been amazing. But yeah, that was just sort of get down to business, and let's do whatever we need to do to ensure her well-being.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing all of that. I can't completely understand because I don't have a child who has cancer, but as a survivor and as a parent, I can appreciate the perspective for sure. So thank you for sharing all of that. How is McCoy now in terms of the journey that she's gone through from both a physical and a mental perspective? You've touched on this a little bit in terms of what are the longer impacts of, cancer on McCoy's life. You didn't, talk about it too much, and you don't have to, depending on your comfort level.
Yeah.
But, what's the journey been like for her from a physical and a mental perspective as well?
I was just actually having this conversation with a friend of mine. As we're getting to the end of treatment, I've realized for myself that we're starting to open up a new chapter, and it is bringing up a lot of emotions for me. We've been in the what I like to call the chemo bubble for 2.5 years. It's kept us, I've trusted that her medicines have kept the beast at bay. And now we're getting to the point where we have to hope that, that it worked and that she'll stay without a reoccurrence. She's at a high risk for relapse. We know that, but we are trusting in our faith that we did everything we possibly could to give her the best outcome. So I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine that I have to start thinking about what our next chapter is in survivorship, and accepting that I'm parenting a different child than I was before diagnosis. She is physically and emotionally and mentally a different child. She's struggles with, she physically struggles. There's not a whole lot that comes easy to her right now. She had the high dose steroids that she received have done some long-term damage to her joints. She's lost a lot of muscle tone. We have her in therapy and trying to give her an edge on that. She struggles cognitively. I don't know if everyone is aware, but for pediatrics, at least, that's all I can speak of. Pediatric leukemia, they receive chemotherapy right into their cerebral spinal fluid to keep the leukemia cells from entering the spinal fluid in the spine and brain. So, one of the side effects to that is cognitive impairment, possible loss of IQ. So that is tough. And we are just getting to the point, I haven't even given myself time to think about that, because for 2.5 years, it was just keeping her here. And that was my only focus. And now that it feels like we're there, like we are now able to say, she's with us, she's doing well, her prognosis is good. Now we have to accept that, what's to come. And so it is difficult. She's, comparatively speaking, I'm so happy that she's here with us, and that anything else is just really not important other than she's here. And we have every reason to think that she's going to have a great and long future. But we are recognizing that we've lost along the way. And we're just going to make the best out of it. But yeah, it's hard because there are some times that I feel like I mourn the child the pre-cancer child. And I won't know what that's like because that's in our past now. And I'm starting to accept that. I think, I think of McCoy before she was diagnosed as my healthy child, and I always just want to go back to my healthy child. And the reality is that we won't ever go back to that child, but we have this new normal who can also be a healthy child, but just we took a bit of a deviation in our health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you for sharing all of that. Let's show Laura lots of love in the comments for sure. Stefan says, so sorry, McCoy is still dealing with so much. Bless her incredible spirit and heart. We love you, McCoy, and mom and fam.
Thank you.
Dorothy's encouraging everyone to donate. Yes. A reminder, we're here on Open Your Hearts and Wallets and all the things. Yes, definitely donate. Donations.perspectivesoncancer.com for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. It's helped me out so much. I know it's helped Laura out as well, and she'll share more about that in a few minutes. Thanks for putting the link down there, Dorothy. Jenny says, we all need to hear all your education, Laura. Thank you. Bill has a question. He says, Laura, where was McCoy treated? Clinical studies are very important. Advocating for your child is so important. Well done.
Thank you. She was diagnosed at Lehigh Valley Riley Children's Hospital, which is right down the road from us. So we were so fortunate to have her majority of her treatment done in Lehigh Valley. She was enrolled in the clinical trial immediately. So the clinical trials through CHOP. So she's dual treated from CHOP and Lehigh Valley Riley. We obviously, our location, we take this for granted, but the #1 children's hospital in the country is in our backyard, being CHOP. And then Lehigh Valley Riley's Children's works very closely with CHOP. Our children, our leukemia children that have to go on to CAR T therapy or bone marrow transplant or stem cell transplant all go to CHOP because Lehigh Valley doesn't provide those treatments. So a lot of when I say our children, a lot of my other fellow cancer moms, their children, a lot of our children are dual treated from Lehigh Valley and CHOP. And we have a couple that are also at Sloan Kettering in New York City. So so we've been lucky that, it would have been really difficult to have to travel a lot for her treatment. So we have done the majority of her frontline treatment has been at Lehigh Valley Hospital.
Thank you for sharing. Pamela is watching from LLS. Thank you for watching. And thank you. She says, thank you for sharing.
Yes, we love Pam. Thank you, Pam, for everything you do.
Definitely. Definitely. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We appreciate it so much. Yes. So have you been, this is a lot to go through as, your child has cancer. As a mom, have you been intentional in terms of self-care, taking care of yourself, as your child's going through this?
Mm-hmm. I think at first I probably wasn't. I was very much so fixated on, I didn't leave the hospital. McCoy spent her first 30 days inpatient. So I did not leave the hospital, and it was right around the holidays. She was diagnosed on November 20th. We were home on December 21st. So, my husband was like, go home and, relax, go take a bath, do whatever and it wasn't going to happen. Those first 30 days, I wasn't leaving. But I noticed that was taking a lot of wear and tear on me. I did a lot of what I call shower crying. So I would take care of my daughter during the day, and I'd put on a really brave face, and everything was sunshine and rainbows, and we had dance parties and we drew pictures, and then I'd go and cry in the shower. And that's how I was dealing. Probably wasn't the best, but it's what I could do at the time. And then I recognized that I wasn't going, this is a long journey we knew right off the bat, we were looking at 2.5 years. And so I knew I had to be more intentional. So I spoke to a counselor. I got connected with some nonprofit organizations that provided support groups. And then I made a connection with other cancer moms. And that's been the best thing for me is support from other moms that literally were walking in my shoes, were right down the hall from me, were dealing with the same stressors. And so that I think was a lot of the self-care that I gave, was the, going and meeting in the lobby for a Starbucks coffee, and giving myself that 15 minutes to get away, or when we were home and not in the hospital, being able to meet my girlfriends for brunch for a little bit, knowing that like daddy was on duty and everything was okay. And so I tried to be intentional in that way. I did a lot of writing, a lot of reflecting and praying. So yeah, I think that was my version of self-care. And now I feel like I'm continuing that as we're getting closer to the end of this part of the journey of, recognizing the stressors and the traumas that we have experienced, and doing the best I can to address them. Because I know that I'm only as good of a caregiver if I'm well, so that I for my daughter as well. So that is incredibly important for sure. I think self-care, no matter what you're going through. I mean, we all just went through a global pandemic. Many of ours cancer journeys, and so I think self-care is incredibly important no matter what. And it's not selfish, it's important. It's whatever you need to keep yourself physically and mentally well is definitely important.
So true. So true. Thank you for sharing. And Mark Lee says, what advice do you give for others who are going through this pain?
I think my biggest advice, what has worked for me, is find your tribe. You need people, you need support. I think it's so easy in the beginning you feel incredibly isolated, because you are literally and figuratively isolated when your child or yourself is immunocompromised, and you can't be around people, or you can't be doing the things that you normally do, and there was no school, no work. And so I think it's an isolating, a cancer diagnosis feels isolating. And I think finding your tribe, your people that are going to support you, and sometimes support looks like sitting in silence, because I did that often with my other cancer moms, where we just sat there and didn't say anything, and that's nothing needed to be said. It was just this understanding that we knew how each other felt. And then there was some times where we just wanted to scream, and there was a lot of laughing, and you sort of have to laugh at times and be like, is this, especially after March 2020, it was like, wait, hold on. So cancer and a pandemic, like, okay, not like that, it was almost like you just had to laugh and just be like, oh, well, all right, like, here's the next challenge. And so that's my advice to other parents, is really like, find those that you can lean on, and lean on them, and ask for help, and don't be ashamed of it. And that someone told me once that it's okay to not be okay. That was pretty, because for me, as the sort of just the type of person I am, it's always like, I'm fine. I've got this. I don't need help. I can manage it all. I don't know if it's the plate of a mother sometimes, that I feel like I've got it and my plate's never too full. And I think learning to just say, actually, my plate's like, someone needs to hold this for me. And that, that's been a humbling experience, but it would definitely be my advice to others. Ask for help. Say when you're not okay, and find your tribe.
I love that. I love that. And as a cancer survivor as well, from my perspective, I feel the same way. Connecting with other survivors, or others who have perspectives as well on cancer. I just feel like there's a special connection between people that, that have different perspectives on cancer.
I agree. Yeah. It's the club that no one wants to be in.
Yeah.
Once you're in, you're in. And yeah, we fiercely love each other and protect each other, and we celebrate each other's victories, and, and sit with each other in solidarity during loss and trials. And that's what we do. That's how we move forward.
Yeah, that's so true. And Mark Lee in the green room is telling me that we are nearly 1/8 through of the 24 hours. So thank you, Mark Lee, for telling me that.
Awesome.
Bill sorry, were you going to say something?
No, I said, that's awesome. You're doing great.
Oh, thanks. So are you.
Thank you.
Bill says, Laura, you may enjoy Welcome to Holland. This reminds us of the beauty around us, even when our life destination unexpectedly changes. And he put the link there. So,
awesome.
Have you heard of that?
No, I have not, but I will absolutely check it out. Thank you.
Very cool. Very cool. So Laura, tell us a bit about how did you become involved or connected with LLS, and how has it been, helpful for you and your family?
So, as a parent of a cancer child, I became connected with LLS pretty early on. Our social worker at Lehigh Valley Riley, her name's Sloan, another amazing, incredible human being. She actually a cancer mom herself, so literally would be able to sit with me and say, "I have been there. I know what you're going through." She, brought all the paperwork for different organizations, and LLS was sort of on the foremost of the information that we were given and as a resource. So I know that LLS provides amazing services, financial help for families. I know they were doing some COVID relief, extra money for families, but for us, it's been mostly the little things along the way for McCoy. They do some really cool things with prom, which they're bringing back this year. I'm so excited. They do a Little Heroes prom. This will be McCoy's first
Amazing.
in person. Yeah, it's so cool. We're so excited. We were excited. It was, I think prom was going to be in March of 2020, and obviously was canceled because of COVID. And then they haven't been able to bring it back in person. They did a phenomenal job of having an online version of prom, which was super fun. And McCoy, always up for a party. She actually asked where the after party would be. I have no idea where she gets this information from. But she was like, "Oh, when's the after party?"
Oh my
Where-
gosh.
But yeah, so they've done great things. And so the prom, the Little Heroes prom is in April this year. And then on the other side, I became involved in LLS through my dear friend Catherine's campaign last year for the Leukemia Lymphoma Woman of the Year. And she asked me to be a team member. And, how could I say no to that? Of course, I was like, absolutely. And so kudos to you for signing up, because I know that it is a very labor intensive couple of weeks, but for such a good cause, it just keeps you going. Every time we were like, wow, this is a lot and we're tired, and there's one event after another, and every night was something else, and just advocating and raising money and raising awareness. But it was such an incredible experience. So I was a team member. She was awarded the 2021 Woman of the Year. It was one of the coolest experiences. And I think also probably one of the most healing parts of my journey was feeling like I could finally do something, because I feel like the cancer diagnosis feels like you are just helpless, that you're depending upon everyone else. And for the first time, I was able to say, I can do this. I can raise money. I can raise awareness. I can share my daughter's story. And it worked. And we were able to raise a lot of money. And it was during a pandemic. It was pretty crazy, but an awesome experience. So kind of I've been on both sides of LLS. And like I said, near and dear to my heart, I will always be a supporter. And I humbly ask all of you to donate. It's a wonderful organization, great cause, and support Tim, because Tim has definitely signed up for a large undertaking, but not to scare you off or anything, but it's great.
Be careful what you say.
I'm here for you though. Don't worry.
We're only less than 3 hours out here.
It's awesome now. So yeah, I think, you're going to do great. There's no doubt in my mind, no doubt. You have skin in the game. So I know how much it means to you as well.
For sure. For sure. Hang on one second.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, everyone who is here. So many of you are here. Jenny Gold, Mark Lee, Jason Freeman from South Dakota. Jason Freeman is amazing. He has a live show. He always shows up on Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer. He had me on his show, and he's incredible. He's always showing up for other people. Thank you so much for being here, Jason. Bill, this is Bill's wife's book, The Focused Fight. I don't know if you can see it with my green screen. Let me do this. Settings. The Focused Fight. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
A Childhood Cancer Journey from Mayhem to Miracles by Terry Tomoff.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I am going to add that to my cart. I would love to read that.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely check that out. Dorothy, Maria Rouse is in the house. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Stephen Kaplan is always supporting everyone. Carl Sullivan, Daniel Hall. You guys are just all amazing. Just all amazing. Jim Fuse. I co-host a show with Jim Fuse called The Tim and Jim Show. And tomorrow we're having a special episode of The Tim and Jim Show where I'm going to be interviewing Jim on his connections to cancer. And then we're going to turn the tables and he's going to ask me questions as well. So that'll be fun as well. So Laura, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to share or?
No, I feel like we touched upon pretty much everything. I mean,
yeah.
If there's anything else you need from me, just let me know. I'm happy to share my daughter's story. Obviously, very proud of her and how far she's come. But even more importantly, to advocate on behalf of other children still fighting and other individuals still fighting. And as you know, there will be more people diagnosed constantly, children diagnosed with all types of cancer, but leukemia being the most prominent childhood cancer. So I so appreciate you having me on. I appreciate your efforts for LLS and, totally go Team Tim. I'm excited to see what you do in this journey. I think it's going to be incredible. And, I just thank you so much for what you're doing on behalf of blood cancer patients.
Thanks. And before we go, we're going to play This Is Me from The Greatest Showman.
That's my kiddo's favorite song. She loves it.
Awesome. Oh, wait, I don't actually want to share this out. I just want to play it. Here we go. Can you hear it? Yeah.
Say, no, I love you as you are, but I'm gonna break it down to dust. I know that there's a place for us. Oh, we don't know here. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down.
This is McCoy.
Yeah, she loves this song. I love it.
This is me. Now here I come. And the marching up to the beat I drum. I'm not scared.
Guys, make sure to check out Dorothy Odell is interviewing cancer survivor Jim Calhoun in 5 minutes. Go to donations.perspectives.com to donate, as well as to find the link for Dorothy interviewing Jim Calhoun in 5 minutes. Appreciate you all so much. This is such a good song.
It is. The first time she sang it, I sobbed because I just
Did you?
it. Yeah, I mean, the message is powerful, and I think for everyone
It's
that's
such a good song.
Yeah, for anyone who's been through something difficult to still just be like, this is who I am, and doesn't matter, broken or bruised, this is me. I love it. It's awesome.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that song with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. All right. Thank you so much, Laura. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, anytime, honestly. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who joined us. This was really, really amazing. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Okay.
Bye. Take care.
Bye. All right. Thank you, everyone, so much for being here. We are finishing up the 3rd hour of Open Your Hearts and Wallets for Blood Cancers. And for those of you who are going to be joining us for the 4th hour, our 4th hour is going to be over with Dorothy Odell. Will be interviewing cancer survivor Jim Calhoun. So you can go over to donations.perspectives on cancer.com to find that link over there, as well as if you'd like to make a donation to LLS, the button is over there to do that as well. So we just appreciate you all so much for showing up tonight. The schedule as well is over at donations.perspectivesoncancer.com. We have shows going the entire 24 hours until 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. But we have a special guest here, a special guest who has just popped into our green room. And let's see who it is. Can you guys guess who it is? Can you guess? Peter Clark.
Boom. How are you?
Boom. How are you, my friend?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, I just wanted to drop in and say hello and congratulations on putting together just such a great show and for a beautiful cause. I mean, that's it's the power of the internet and the power of being able to broadcast, and the power of putting together shows is to use it for a force of good. So I just want to come on and support you and give you a quick shout out, my friend. That's simple as that. Much respect for that. And going into putting all the people together that you that you brought together, that's fantastic. So kudos to you and kudos to everyone who's participating today and tonight so far.
Appreciate you for showing up, Peter Clark. You have a huge heart, and you often provide space for people to show up and share their hearts. So,
well, I try to, and you do the same thing. I mean, we all try to do it. I think if I could add anything to the commentary that you've had today, I've kind of jumped in and out. I've been watching a little bit here and there, so I apologize for that. Just back and forth. I think what's it's fascinating. Of course, today is the International Women's Day, of course. Yes. Powerful messaging in that itself, and of course, our hearts and our minds are consumed with what's happening in Europe today and around the world. I mean, let's face it, Europe is obviously top of mind, but represents so much discomfort that's happening in the world today. So. I think the message, some of the messaging for me is this idea that, I know for me, and I don't recommend this to people actually, because it keeps you up at night. It certainly keeps me up at night, but I always ask questions like, what if that was me? What would I do if that was me? Yeah. And so whether we're talking about cancers, whether we're talking about, the very disruptive thing that's happening in Europe right now, as an example, you ask yourself, what would I do? And I then normally put these things together as well, which I hope this will help people who want to support, your cause tonight and over the next 24 hours, is that there's 2 million people now, they say so far, who have been displaced and refugees now in this particular conflict. And out of those 2 million people, there's people there with cancers. There's people there that need medication. There's people that aren't getting their blood transfusion. There's people that are in a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort, not just from obviously the direct effects of war and conflict, but there's sick people, very sick people. And I always think about those things. So if I was sitting in in some sort of, on a border somewhere, not knowing what my life's going to turn out to be, and I don't all of a sudden don't have my medications, and I don't have my blood cancer treatments, and I don't have, man, that is just something that just really keeps me up at night. So again, we're so blessed to be here. We're so blessed to be able to do what you're doing now, which is asking people to support, even with if it's $1, if it's a sense of that we're able to help people who can get the help, and then feel that blessing and feel that gratitude. And my heart and my mind is constantly with people who are in pain, who now obviously can't get the help that they need. So I know that's a little heavy, but I just wanted to keep that in perspective for everybody of how lucky we are to be able to, to donate $10 or $5, whatever you're doing, and know that it can actually be going to help somebody who is probably in a world of hurt. So it's just great what you're doing, man. I just love the idea of amplifying voices for good, and so you're doing a great job. So thank you for doing that. And thank you for all the stories. The stories are fantastic. I can't get enough of the stories. I can't get enough of the stories of just hearing everyone has a story. You can't throw a fridge far enough to hit somebody that has been infected by cancer. It's just
That's so true.
Pretty much everybody in the world, right? I mean, it's impossible.
Yeah,
So,
that's so true.
yeah. So no, I thank you for that, my friend.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your huge heart.
Absolutely,
I
my
appreciate
friend.
you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, have a good rest of this show, and I'll be popping in and out to see how the other parties are doing and all that stuff.
Yes.
So keep doing what you're doing, and a shout out to all of your co-hosts as well for using their voice as a force for good. That's fantastic. So much respect on that. Much respect.
Appreciate it. Much love, Peter.
Okay, my friend.
Okay.
Take care. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. All right, everyone. How's that? Top off 3 hours, an appearance by the one and only Peter Clark. This has been an amazing 3 hours. We started out with our first hour launch with, you guys got to meet my amazing team. Rachel Druckenmiller made an appearance, sang an incredible song, had me in goosebumps. I don't know if she had you guys in goosebumps, but I am, yeah. Second hour, you guys get to meet all the incredible individuals and some of the incredible individuals and businesses who are donating so we can have a drawing this second day. Tomorrow, during the 5 p.m. Eastern hour, we'll be doing a drawing. People, you incredible people who are donating will be entered to win a drawing to win prizes. Yes, this is the third hour, and I am starting to go over my words here. So that must be a sign. This is time for me to end my segment of the show here. But thank you all. I want to let you know you can go to donations.perspectivesoncancer.com. This is where you can make a donation. This is where you can find the complete schedule for the 24 hours. We have shows going on until 6:00 p.m. tomorrow night Eastern time. So right now you can head over to donations.perspectivesoncancer.com to find the link for Dorothy Odell is interviewing Jim Calhoun on his connection and perspectives on cancer. And then following that, Nancy Barrows and Brian Shulman will have a show from 10 p.m. to midnight as well. Shock will be performing as well during those 2 hours. And you can find the complete schedule at donations.perspectivesoncancer.com. Ellen is here. She is saying, this is such a well-executed and organized campaign, Tim. I hope you have lots of caffeine for those wee hours of the morning. Ellen, I don't drink coffee anymore, although the tea I drink is actually caffeinated, so I guess that counts. Yes. Stefan says, I am so happy to now know and be connected with Peter. Much love, my man. Dimitri, shout out to Guatemala. Thank you all. Just thank you all so much for being here, for showing up, for giving what you can. If you can donate, I so appreciate it. The LLS is such an important organization, and so many people need help. Cancer is so expensive, and there is no cure for cancer yet. Yes, there are treatments, but there is no cure for cancer yet. So I encourage you to give what you can. Ellen said, oh no, I didn't mean to tempt you. I think she means talking about stopping to drink coffee. Yeah, I don't drink coffee for the most part anymore. I'm drinking tea, but I'm having an identity crisis. Okay. So you guys get it. Donations.perspectivesoncancer.com. That's your home base to find out all the information you need for the next 24 hours. If you guys have any questions, you can direct message me on LinkedIn, on any of the platforms. And that's really it. The entire schedule is there. Personally, myself, I'll be hosting the Tim and Jim show tomorrow with Tim Fuse. I am totally confused. 3 hours of hosting has apparently left me confused. With Jim Fuse, I'll be interviewing him tomorrow on his perspectives on cancer and connections on cancer, and he'll be interviewing me. And Rob Howes will be stopping by and doing some freestyling, so that'll be fun. And then at 4:00, I'll be interviewing the Boy of the Year for LLS. And then 5:00, we have our final celebration and drawing. So yeah, but many hours to go before then. So much love to all of you. Thank you all. I love you all. This incredible community coming together is just freaking amazing. I love you. I will see you soon. I'm sure I'll see you in the comments of most of the shows coming up. I will sleep at some point. I don't know when. Much love. I'm sending you all lots of love around the world, wherever you are, no matter what time it is.